A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
It is a perplexed David, seeking the solace of the four walls which are his home, who unlocks the door of the boarding house and enters. Glancing into the living room, seeing Mary busily engaged in a conversation with young Tommy Garfield, David walks quickly past the doorway, hoping he will not be seen. But as he starts up the stairway, he is interrupted by...
Oh, David! David!
Yes, Mary.
David, if you can, will you come in for a minute? Tommy Garfield's here and he wants to see you. Oh, you're not too busy, are you?
Busy? Oh, of course not.
Hi, this morning, Mr. Drake.
Oh, fine, thanks, Tommy. And you?
I'm swell.
And your sister?
Well, Fran's about the same. She's still coughing a lot, but she slept pretty good.
Well, that's good.
I guess it was because she was kind of easy in her mind after you and Miss Sothern coming over. You know what I mean?
Well, of course I know what you mean.
But I sure am glad Dr. Benson's coming from Sanders to see her. She don't look so good today. She needs a good doc like him.
What did you want to see me about, Tommy?
Oh, about the heavyweight champ, Mr. Drake. Tommy Morelli.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you told me about him last night.
Well?
I run into some of the guys on the way over here this morning, and we want to know when he's going to be here.
You went into action pretty fast, didn't you?
You see, David, Tommy's going to bring all his gang to the boys' club when Tony Morelli gets here.
Sure, all the guys want to see you, Mr. Drake. You're going to have to hire a hall.
Well, say, that sounds first rate, Tommy. Tony hasn't given me a definite date as yet, but I think I'm safe in saying it'll be sometime before the middle of the month.
The middle of March?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, gee, that's swell, Mr. Drake. You really got something in that boys' club.
Well, thanks, Tommy. We think so, too.
Oh, it's a pip of an idea. Well, guess I'll be going now. Fran will be expecting me. And thanks for the cough medicine, Miss Sothern.
Oh, that's all right, Tommy. Tell Fran to stay in bed until Dr. Benson comes, won't you?
Sure will, Miss Sothern.
And, Tommy,
yes?
Stop in and see Mrs. McPherson in the kitchen on your way out. She has something for you for Fran's luncheon.
Oh, well, gee, that's swell of you, Miss Sothern. I don't know how we can ever make it even with you doing all these things for us. You and Mr. Drake and Mrs. McPherson and the doc coming.
That's all right, Tommy.
There ain't no reason, really, why you should bother with us. Fran, she wanted me to tell you how swell you were. And, well, I think so, too. You're the top.
We're all going to see this through together, Tommy. And, thanks for telling us how you feel. Run along now and get the luncheon from Mrs. McPherson.
Okay. Well, so long.
Goodbye, Tommy.
So long, fella.
I wonder, David, why Tommy's so appealing.
Well, he's a likable youngster, completely honest with himself. He hasn't a touch of guile or deceit in his makeup. Maybe that's why.
Maybe.
Then again, perhaps it's because he's one of those people that we choose to call the underdog. As you said yourself, he's never had a fair chance at life. Unless someone takes hold of him, why, he's likely to become a wastrel, an aimless wanderer.
I suppose that's why. By the way, David, did you see Father Brady this morning?
Yes, I did.
Well, did you ask him about getting a nurse for Fran Garfield?
A nurse?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot all about it. We were talking of other things, but I'll call him now.
Oh, don't bother. I can see about it after John gets here. There's no rush.
I'm so sorry about that, Mary, but you know you can blame it on Father Brady. We got the rambling, wool gathering.
I know how easy that is when you're with Father Brady.
Yes, isn't it, though? Now, he's probably the most stimulating person I know. He always has been, as long as I can remember. That's for a good many years. Seeing Tommy just now, you're wondering why he's so appealing. It reminded me of a talk Father and I had not so long ago. I'd like to tell you about it, Mary.
I'd love to hear it.
There's nothing better to do.
Don't be silly. I'm only waiting for John.
Sure I won't be boring you?
As if you could.
Well, I hope not. Anyway, we got on the subject of people. We got to talking about the people who do things in the world. You know, become successful and amount to something.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried to contrast their outlook on life with that of the people who did nothing. The drifters, the wanderers. Now, which of the two would you suppose to be the happiest?
Well, of the two, offhand, I'd say the successful people.
Why?
Oh, because they'd have some purpose in life, some goal to start out with. They reach that goal.
And so they're happy, hmm? You think it's as simple as all that?
Well, I think success has a great deal to do with it, David.
Yes, perhaps so, Mary, but what about the drifters? They start out nowhere and they end up nowhere. They don't work, they don't care, nothing really troubles them. Yet they do serve a purpose in the world. I think they're happy in their way, and sometimes they succeed in various ways in making those around them happy. Success shouldn't be the only criterion of contentment in the world, you know.
But it's a pretty important ingredient, David.
I wonder how many marriages, for instance, with a material success as their basis, are really happy.
And I wonder how many marriages without material success are.
Like most questions, I suppose that's one every individual must decide for himself. I didn't know the answer. Father Brady couldn't lay down any hard and fast rule for everyone to follow. I don't suppose any of us could.
Probably not, David.
Though perhaps we could decide our own feelings in the matter if we tried. And you, for instance, Mary.
Now, David, why pick on me?
Well, because I don't know the answer. But tell me this. The average woman, when she goes about the business picking out a husband, which is she more likely to choose? A successful one or a wanderer?
I don't know.
You don't?
No, not exactly. But I do know this, David.
Yes.
Most women marry for love. They might fall in love with the type of person you choose to call successful, and again, they might love a drifter. Many women do. You can't just pigeonhole types, to my way of thinking. You can't say for sure what might happen in any particular case, but, well, I think any woman would prefer to be married to a man with some purpose in life, whether he achieves it or not, rather than to a man with no goal and no ambition whatsoever.
When a few minutes later, their conversation terminated by the arrival of John Benson, David goes alone to his room. The words of Mary, Father Brady, echo and re-echo in his ear. He sits by the window, sees the car of busy, prosperous-looking Dr. Benson, who came to Craig's Falls in summons of Mary's call. And through his mind goes the thought,
I had no reason for asking. No excuse. No possible explanation for wanting to know. And I knew what her answer would be. Why do I care? Was Father Brady right? Am I in love with Mary Sothern? Am I?
if, as it appears, David Drake has fallen in love with Mary, what can he do? What will he do to prove himself worthy of her love? When you take your children to the dentist for their regular dental checkup, has it ever occurred to you that you also have a responsibility in caring for your children's teeth and gums in your own home? Just ask your dentist about it. He'll tell you that teeth and gums must be cared for at home, too. And probably one of the first things he will say is that your children should massage their gums daily, besides cleaning their teeth. To help keep their gums healthy? Yes. And also because you can't count on having bright teeth and a radiant smile unless your gums are healthy. That's why so many dentists recommend Ipana, I-P-A-N-A, Ipana toothpaste. For while Ipana is unsurpassed for cleaning the teeth, it is also specially made to be used with gum massage. So remember your responsibility in helping to protect the health of the gums, the sparkling teeth, and the appealing smiles of your children. Get an economical tube of Ipana toothpaste at your druggist today. And use Ipana with massage and have your whole family follow this famous technique starting tonight. David Drake, coming to realize that his friendship for Mary Sothern has grown into a deeper, more profound feeling. John Benson, knowing that Mary needs him, has turned to him in time of trouble. Mary, who seeks only security and contentment for herself and for her children. What will be the result of her call to John Benson? Her father Brady is holding the mirror of reality up to David Drake. Tomorrow, John Benson and David Drake again come face to face. Be sure not to miss this dramatic chapter in the life of Mary Sothern. The life of Mary Sothern, the human story of a woman who in a restless, changing world seeks peace, happiness, and security for herself and for her children. Mary Sothern is presented each weekday by the makers of Ipana toothpaste. You know, we don't say that pink toothbrush is certain to ruin your smile. No, we simply say that pink toothbrush is a danger signal, a warning that may mean serious oral trouble ahead. So we continually emphasize this. If you see a tinge of pink on your brush after you've cleaned your teeth, consult your dentist. He's the one to decide whether your condition is serious. Now, chances are he'll say that your gums have grown soft and flabby from lack of stimulating exercise. And he may recommend that you give them needed stimulation with Ipana and massage. For Ipana, I-P-A-N-A, Ipana toothpaste is specially designed to stimulate your gums when used with massage. Certainly Ipana cleans your teeth. It's unsurpassed at that work. But here's my point. Used with massage, it helps protect something even more fundamental, the health of your gums. And this famous helpful technique is very easy, too. First, you just brush your teeth good and clean with Ipana. Then, squeeze a little extra Ipana on your brush or fingertip and massage your gums with it. That stimulates your gums, peps up circulation, helps make your gums firmer, more resistant to oral disorders, and so helps protect the very basis of bright, good-looking teeth and the lovely smile that is so often the means of gaining the admiration and affection of your friends. But look, why wait for the pink danger signal that means the beauty of your smile may be threatened? Why not get an economical tube of Ipana toothpaste from your druggist today and help guard against pink toothbrush? Why not start to use Ipana with massage this very night?
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Casey, Mr. Marvin and me been wondering what happened to you.
Hello, Ethelbert. Hi, Tony. Say, Casey, haven't seen you around the last few days.
Oh, I've been cheering myself hoarse for the Dodgers this week.
You're a Brooklyn boy.
No, but the Dodgers, they're a national institution.
Oh, you don't have to tell me about a national institution. I cheer for one, too, every week.
Which one? The Yankees?
Oh, come, Casey. To what other institution would I be referring but Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer. ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, Loaded Dice. 6:00 in the morning. A grim, gray hour when many of us regretfully leave comfortable beds to begin the day's work. But Casey's work ended only a few hours ago, so he has a long sleep ahead of him. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Casey?
Huh?
Is that you, Casey?
Yeah, it's me.
This is Steve Drake.
Who?
Steve Drake.
Oh, hello, Steve. I was going to phone you last week to see if you had any tip. Hey, what's the big idea of waking me up at this hour of the morning? You got a lousy nerve.
Hold it, Casey. Now listen to me.
What do you want?
You and I went to school together. We used to be pals.
Well, it's no excuse for
I
calling.
need help, Casey.
No guy is a pal of mine who wakes me up. You need help, Steve.
Plenty, I think.
Oh, excuse me for yelling at you, fella. I was still half asleep.
Will you come to my apartment right away? I'm living in Adlin Gardens, Barclay House, 4A.
As soon as I can throw on my clothes if you're in a jam. What's wrong?
I think I'm in a bad jam.
You think?
Yeah, I haven't the guts to find out by myself. It'd be too dangerous if I tried. Hurry over here, Casey, hurry.
Come in, Casey. Thanks for getting here so quickly.
Okay, Steve. Swell joint you have here.
Casey,
It's a big trouble.
come here. Look there on the floor.
That's a knife. Covered with dried blood.
Yeah, the blood was fresh when I first saw that knife.
When you first saw it.
About 15 minutes before I phoned you. It was right where it is now. I had sense enough not to touch it.
Go on.
Well, I'd been asleep. I was awakened by, I thought I heard my door close, so I got up to investigate. Well, someone had gone out the door, all right, because the door hadn't been locked, like I left it.
Whoever was here left that shit.
Yeah.
Well, have you looked around your apartment?
Well, naturally. No one has been stabbed here. Nothing has been disturbed in the place.
Well, I don't get it.
I'm afraid I do. That's why I asked for your help.
Well, all right, Steve. Give me the answers.
Well, there are only 2 apartments to a floor in these garden houses. Foster Blassett is the other tenant on this floor.
Foster Blassett.
You know who he is.
Well, sure I do. Millionaire fat guy who tried to be a wolf, a playboy, 300 pounds plus on the hoof.
He also bucks my racket hard.
Yeah, he lost a lot of dough to you, didn't he? I heard he didn't pay off.
You're getting the picture. Now, look, Casey, I brought you here this morning because you've known me ever since we were kids. We haven't played in the same league for years. I'm a professional gambler, in the dough today, broke tomorrow, while you stayed legitimate. But you know me. You know I'm not chump enough to knife a guy because he welched on the bet. Now, you may have to convince the cops of that. The cops who know and trust you.
Keep on talking, Steve.
Now, look. This door to my living room leads to an outside terrace.
Yeah, I see.
Now, on the other side of that high dividing wall, Blassett's apartment has a similar terrace.
Yeah?
I found a small blood stain on top of the wall. Blood from that knife, I think.
Well, you climbed to the top of that wall?
Yes, and looked over before I phoned you. A table with a chair on top of it is against Blassett's side of the wall.
Well, did you go over the wall?
No, I was afraid. Afraid to find out for sure.
You moved this chair and table to your side of the wall when you climbed to look over it, huh?
Yeah.
Let's climb over the wall and see what's what.
Will you go first?
Okay. Easy enough with these tables and chairs. Come on.
I'm coming. Blassett's door to the terrace is open.
Yeah, let's go in.
Casey, that little stain on the rug.
Looks like a blood stain, all right. You notice things, don't you, Steve?
Look there.
What?
Across this living room. In the hall.
I see. I want a close look.
It's Blassett.
Yes. Slumped against the outside door of his apartment. Dead.
And he was stabbed, Casey. My guess was right.
Yeah. So right, I wondered if it was a guess.
What do you mean?
A little guy like you couldn't move Blassett after he fell against this outside door and blocked it. There was only one other way for you to get out of the apartment, the terrace, which led only to your place. And after piling up that furniture to get back over the dividing wall, you couldn't put it back where it belonged on this side.
So you think I killed Blasted, huh?
If our positions were reversed, what would you think?
And you're the guy I thought would help me. Stand by me. Well, I have no chance the way things stand now. And I'm not going to be railroaded on a lousy frame-up.
Oh, so you pack a gun?
And I'll use it if you make me. Open the closet door behind you, Casey. I'm locking you in there, and I'm getting out of here.
You locked me in that closet. Huh?
You heard me. Open the door and get in.
I don't think I will, Steve. I'm going to use Blassett's phone to call the cops.
Keep away from that phone.
No.
Put that phone down.
Why don't you shoot, Steve?
All right.
Better give me that rod, hadn't you?
Yeah. Take it.
Thanks. You're a smart guy. Hello, headquarters. Give me Captain Logan, Homicide Bureau. Yes, Steve, you're a very smart guy.
I was just too yellow to shoot you. That's what you mean.
Oh, I wasn't worried about that gun.
You had my number.
After you said you'd lock me in the closet, then I got your number, Steve. Before that, I wasn't sure.
I was just too yellow.
I've never known a killer who was too yellow to do another killing that might save him from the hot seat.
Now, what are you driving at?
Hello? Excuse me. Hello, Logan. Listen, the way you cops waste the taxpayers' money is a crime. You know, I've been holding onto this wire for half an hour here. What have you been... Oh. Okay, pal. Hey, Logan. Bring the ME and your tech squad up to the Adlon Garden Apartments. I've got a little case of murder for you. Yes, murder is what I said. And I got a chief suspect right here in front of me. Uh-huh. Only I'm sure he's not guilty.
Casey.
Yes, Logan. You see, he's a guy I know.
Okay, Drake, we'll talk some more about your story later. Now, you'll stay here in the kitchen with this officer while I see what my men have dug up in the other rooms of Blassett's apartment.
All right, Captain. Hey, Casey, thanks for everything.
Okay, Steve.
Come on, Casey.
Sure.
So you think your friend Steve Drake is on the level with that yarn of his, huh?
Logan, I know how weak the yarn is. But I've told you how the guy reacted when he knew that I was against him. If he was a killer, he'd have shot me down.
You sometimes reason like a schoolboy.
Yeah?
Just because you're lucky and have stumbled onto the answers to a few front-page crimes before we cops dug them up, you think you know...
Captain Logan.
Yes, Sergeant?
The tech man just finished the pictures and measurements. Ready to go to work in the body now?
Yeah, get at it. I want to see everything in Blassett's pockets.
Right away, sir.
Logan, when I examined the body after I phoned you, it looked to me as though somebody had gone through Blassett's pockets.
I noticed that when I came in here. Sure you didn't touch anything?
It's a fine thing. There are a few things I won't do in order to get exclusive pictures. And messing up possible evidence is one of them.
I'll believe that in this case because you're here without your camera.
Oh, I got pictures, pal.
Huh?
Yeah. Poor Blassett had a swell camera hanging in his bedroom loaded with film. I got a whole pocket full of nice exclusives.
You had no business to touch anything,
I put
Ronnie.
the camera back exactly where I...
Casey, someday I'm going to get...
stuff was in the guy's pockets, Captain.
Oh, now let's have it. Handkerchief, 2 busted cigars, a key, and a billfold.
Billfold's empty.
Empty. I see.
But he may have a roll in his right pants pocket. The way the body lies against that door, we can't get at it. Underneath him. Is it okay?
Yeah, turn him over.
Give me a hand, will you, Jim? And this fat guy weighed a ton.
I can get into that pocket now. Nothing but a handful of change and a pair of dice.
Dice?
They were the tools of his trade, as much as he had a trade. Not all Blassett ever did was gamble and chase the dames.
Yeah. Finding no big money on him may mean he lost his wad in some game last night.
I started my men on a checkup of Blassett's movements last night right after you phoned me. We should get some reports soon. Sergeant, seal up this stuff from the dead man's pockets. Doesn't look very promising, but we'll have the lab go over it.
Yes, sir.
Has the examination of Steve Drake's apartment turned up anything yet?
Nothing but the knife, those bloodstains that he and Casey told us we'd find.
No notebook or address book or letters that might have belonged to Blassett?
No, sir.
Such things are easily destroyed.
Steve Drake didn't do this job, Logan.
Says you, with a very bum reason for your say-so. I go by evidence, not half-baked psychological theories. Sergeant, has a safe in Drake's apartment been opened? I had him give you the combination.
Yes, Captain. Safe contained only what he said we'd find.
Around $20,000 in cash.
$21,700, to be exact, sir.
A lot of dough to keep in an apartment.
Not for a bookmaker. That's Steve's racket.
I'll answer that, Sergeant.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Captain Logan speaking. Shoot, Martin. Yeah? Hap Everett's place, huh? Very interesting, Martin. Now, you've done a swell job. Now, find out anything else you can and phone me at headquarters. I'll be leaving here soon. Goodbye.
Something new, Logan?
Only in a small way. Resuming our conversation, Casey, as you said, $21,700 is really small dough for a bookmaker who can afford to live in this swanky joint.
Sure it is.
Bookmakers sometimes take it on the chin. Their bankrolls get wiped out. Isn't that so, Casey?
So I've heard, yeah.
Sergeant, bring Steve Drake in here.
Yes, sir?
What are you going to pull?
A little bluff. Now sit down and keep your mouth shut, Casey, and that's an order.
Okay.
Here I am, Captain. Drake, I hear you've taken a pretty hard beating in the races lately.
Yeah, I've taken a beating.
How bad?
Well, frankly, the money in my apartment safe is all I've got.
$21,700.
About that, yeah.
Exactly that. And until you killed Blassett, you had $20,000 left.
I didn't kill Blassett.
Oh, yes, you did. I just got a phone call from one of my men. He's learned that Blassett won close to $20,000 in a crap game at Everett's joint early this morning. And a dependable guard saw him safely home with it. You killed him, Drake. It's Blassett's dough that's in your safe.
It isn't so, Casey. I swear.
I'm putting this guy you know so well under formal arrest for murder.
Our story will continue in just a moment. I like beer.
I like ale.
So you like ale.
And you like beer.
But I'm fussy. I want my beer in a glass.
Well, me too. I want that flavor that's brewery bright.
Brewery bright. And that means glass. Definitely.
Right, because glass and glass alone brings you beer and ale as it ought to taste.
Right. Glass bottles and glass bottles only can bring you beer and ale as it comes from the brewery, unaffected by any foreign taste or flavor.
And now we have a new kind of bottle.
The Anchor Glass one-way bottle.
It requires no deposit.
No return to the store.
When it's empty, dispose of it as you would any food container.
It saves space in the icebox.
It's a natural for picnics.
Easy to open, easy to drink from.
It's always in good taste, and it protects that real brewery flavor.
As only glass can protect it. Yes, the revolutionary new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle is sweeping America. For perfect flavor, demand beer in glass bottles. For extra convenience, demand your favorite brand in the new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle. A product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Here's your beers, gents. Thank you. Go on telling me what happened after Steve Drake was arrested, Casey.
Oh, nothing happened, pal, except that he's been sitting under the bright lights ever since with cops firing questions at him.
He sticks to his original story, huh?
100%.
And, Casey's still sold on that story.
It don't sound very good to me. Has the dough they found in Drake's safe been identified by the joint Blassett wanted at?
Oh, Ethelbert, gamblers are very reluctant witnesses, you know. Hap Everett has been forced to admit that Blassett took one of his dice games for plenty this morning because the cops would have learned about it from the other players anyhow. And he admits he paid Blassett off. But he says he can't identify the dough he did it with.
Hap Everett works for the big syndicate, don't he?
Well, he wouldn't operate if he didn't. They say the syndicate gets 50 cents of every dollar gambled around here.
Yeah, or else.
I never met Everett. He don't come here to the Blue Note. But a gal who works for him does sometimes. A flossy little babe named Janice Russell. I think she's a steerer for his joint.
That's right, she is. She's also one of Blassett's many gal friends, or was.
That guy played the field, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, Annie, let's go down to headquarters to see if Logan's dug up anything new.
Okay.
I hope something's dug up that'll vindicate your belief in Steve Drake's innocence, Casey, but the way this sounds, I ain't got much hope.
Thanks for the lift, pal. Pessimists like you always make me optimistic.
Casey, I've dug up 2 little new items.
Yeah? What are they, Logan?
First, I've had a personal talk with the bodyguard who went home and blasted this morning.
I wanted to know more about that bodyguard.
He's okay. I've double-checked that. The second of my new items may provide an answer. The lab just handed me a report on those dice Blasted had.
Huh?
They're loaded.
Loaded?
Uh-huh. They throw nothing but naturals, the kind that can't lose. Yeah, have a look.
Look at that seven.
Neat pair of cheaters, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, I get it. Blassett won with those dice last night, then Hap Everett found out he'd been cheated and sent a strong-arm man to...
Annie, what you don't know about gambling would fill a 5-foot bookshelf. Best crooked dice ever made. Wouldn't get by a professional for a 20-grand payoff. And these galloping dominoes are plain robbers. The dumbest stick man at Everett's joint would pick them up after a few passes.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, guess I am a little ignorant about galloping dominoes.
Hey, wait a minute. If the stick man in charge of the game was in on the play, Logan, and Blassett double-crossed him about sharing the winnings...
Hey, the picture's there, Casey.
Sure it is. And Steve Drake is not in it.
And after he killed Blassett for refusing to divide the winnings, the stick man searched him for those dice, knowing they were a tip-off to the murderer.
That's it, Annie. And he couldn't get them because 300-pound Blassett fell on top of the dice when he was stabbed.
Yeah. Come on, we're going to pay Hap Everett's joint a visit.
Mr. Everett is in his office. I'll tell him you gentlemen and the lady are here.
Yes, do, and right away.
Yes, Captain Logan.
Swanky setup Hap Everett has.
Yeah. Big syndicate Hap works for goes in for class.
The game rooms must be behind those big closed doors.
Beautifully soundproof, too. Just offices and reception room out here with service quarters and back of them.
Service quarters?
Yeah. Equipment rooms and restrooms for the game operators and hostesses.
Hostess being the refined name for a come-on gal.
There's one of them now.
Casey!
Hello, Janice.
What are you doing here?
Oh, just smooching around. Miss Russell, Miss Williams.
How do you do? How do you do?
And Captain Logan.
Army or Navy, Captain?
Police.
Oh. About the Forster Blassett thing?
You knew Blassett pretty well, didn't you, Janice?
What gal around town didn't?
Were you here when Blassett won all that dough last night?
I work here, Captain.
How did he pile up his winnings? The hard way or by throwing a whole lot of naturals?
I don't remember. What do you ask?
Just curious.
Mr. Everett will see you gentlemen and the lady.
That's very kind of him.
Captain Logan.
How are you, Casey?
Hello, Hap.
And lovely, charming Miss Williams.
Annie, this big mug is a silky wolf. Don't trust that line of his.
I like Mr. Everett's line.
Well, come into my office and make yourselves comfortable.
Well, I'll be running along.
Don't run far, Miss Russell. I may want to talk to you later.
I'll be around, Captain.
Please sit down.
Thanks. That's a nice office you have, Everett. You guys do pretty well by yourselves.
It's comfortable.
And practical. Back doors so you can avoid unwelcome company from the front. And peepholes in both doors.
Specialized professions demand specialized arrangements, Captain.
Yeah. Say, who had charge of the table at which Blassett nicked you for 20 grand this morning?
Les Parker was the stick man?
Oh, get him in here. Now.
Very well.
Bernard.
Yes, Mr. Everett?
Bring Les Parker here right away.
Yes, sir.
Why your interest in my stick man, Captain?
Just want to ask him a few routine questions.
What time did he go off duty this morning?
4:30. According to the afternoon papers, Steve Drake is all wrapped up for the Blassett killing. Anything happened to change things?
No, but we'd have a much better case against Drake if you told us how you paid Blassett his winnings.
I'm sorry, I can't remember, Captain. We pay off so much money to so many people that I... Come in.
You want to see me, Hap?
Captain Logan here wants to see you. This is Les Parker. Please, huh?
Yeah. Will you leave us alone, Everett?
Oh, certainly. I'll go out my back door. I have some checking to do in the equipment room.
What's this about, Captain?
The Blassett murder.
I hear you've got Steve Drake dead to rights for the job.
The case is far from closed.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You know Steve Drake, Parker?
Why, slightly.
Ever been in his apartment?
No.
Ever been in Blassett's apartment?
No.
Blassett was killed about 5:30 this morning. Where were you then?
Home in bed.
Can you prove it?
Why should I have to prove it? The only contact I ever had with Blassett was when he played at my table. I hardly knew the guy.
Ever seen these before, Parker?
I've seen lots of dice, Captain.
Yeah, well, those are special dice. They throw only sevens.
Cheaters, huh?
Robbers.
They were responsible for Foster Blassett's winning streak. Weren't they, Parker?
What do you think I am? No one could slip a pair of phonies like these in on me and get away with it.
They could if you were sharing in the winnings.
You had a deal with Blassett.
No.
When you went to collect this morning, he gave you the laugh.
I didn't.
You stuck a knife in his throat and took the dough.
No,
Parker,
no.
you're under arrest.
No, wait. Wait, I'm not going to be a fall guy, not for a murder rap. There was a deal. But I didn't go to Blassett to collect. And if Steve Drake didn't steal that dough, I've been double-crossed, and I'll tell you...
The lights have gone out.
I saw a gun flash from the peephole in this back door, Logan.
Stop you or I'll shoot.
I heard gunshots, Captain, and the lights went out. I just came out of this equipment room to see...
I see, Everett. Stick your hands in the air.
Okay. There's a switch box by this door, Logan.
Now we've got the light on this pretty situation.
Oh, Captain. Parker got 2 bullets through the head. Looks like he's done for.
There's the gun that did it, Annie, on the floor.
Come in here, Everett. I can guess what Parker was about to tell us. You and he have been working together to beat the big syndicate. Certain players were allowed to win here with phony dice if you got a big share of their take.
You let Blassett be one of those lucky players. But when you went to collect from him, he refused to fork over, so you killed him. And took the dough and framed Drake.
You knew your stooge Parker was a weak sister, so when I came here to question him, you listened outside. And when he started to break, you shot him.
Gentlemen, in the moment between those shots and the time the lights went out, I was out of that equipment room in time to get a glimpse of a woman.
A woman?
What?
You'll probably find her hiding in the hostess's restroom there.
Not exactly hiding.
Janice.
Oh, Miss Russell. I was listening. Now I'll do some talking.
That we want to hear.
I ran into Mr. Everett here in the hall a few minutes ago. My boss never misses a chance to paw a gal when nobody's looking. So he grabbed me and smeared my lip makeup. Look at his mouth. He's still smeared.
That has nothing to do with...
It was a big mistake on your part, Hat. If you'd kept your hands off me, I wouldn't have had to go in there to put fresh lipstick on. And I wouldn't have seen you shooting through the peephole.
You saw him.
He's crazy.
Shut up, Everett. Go on, Miss Russell.
No, I just opened the door to come out when he fired and turned out the lights. I'm an experienced gal who stays under cover when they're shooting, so I ducked back into the room
She shot Parker, Captain. Check up on her. You'll find she and Parker were friends. Good enough friends to be partners in the deal to cheat my games, but not good enough to trust one another. And you were playing around Blassett, Janice.
Just a minute, Hat. That's your revolver on the floor.
It isn't. My gun is right here.
Don't reach inside your coat, Everett, I'll see. And your shoulder holster is empty.
Empty?
That's what I said.
She took it. She lifted it from me when she had her arms around me.
That's a pretty thin story.
Isn't it, though?
Maybe not.
Huh?
Hap likes the gals pretty well. If he was worried about what Parker might tell us, I don't think he'd have taken time to give Janice that little squeeze.
Why, of course I wouldn't. I'd have gotten her out of this hall.
You did get me out of the hall because I had to redo my makeup.
You have pretty good answers, Janice. You're a quick thinker. But you make bad mistakes. The dice were in a pocket underneath Blassett's 300 pounds. Hap here is a big boy. He could have moved the fat man. You couldn't. Check, Logan.
Check, Casey.
I mean,
you loaded the dice against yourself this time, Miss Russell. You're under arrest.
You've got nothing on me. Drake killed Blassett. Hap Everett killed Parker.
We'll have plenty on you when we find the 20 grand you took from Blassett and tie it up to you.
You can't identify money.
I'll identify it. I'll give Captain Logan every serial number on the money.
My Hap, how your memory's improved.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. Here's real refreshment for you. A big frosty pitcher of ice-cold lemonade or iced tea or delicious fruit juices. How pleasing is the tinkle of the ice cubes, and how good it tastes, and how wonderful it looks when poured from the new Sunburst Crystal Pitcher. The Sunburst Crystal Pitcher is a radiantly beautiful 2-quart pitcher in the magnificent new kind of crystal the whole country is talking about and admiring. Why, it picks up light like a diamond and scatters it in 1,000 flashing rays. And here's the big surprise. You can buy one of these magnificent, sparkling Sunburst Crystal Pitchers for only 50 cents. Yes, only 50 cents, or slightly more in distant cities. And here is the kind of crystal that's an heirloom in homes all over America. Look for it tomorrow in the windows and on the counters of the retail stores of America. Sunburst Crystal is a product of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
The cops found that dough in Janice Russell's apartment, huh, Casey?
Yeah, that's right, Ethelbert. She hadn't done a very good job of hiding it.
Well, she figured her frame of Steve Drake had been so good there'd be no suspicion of her. Even Parker, her partner in the loaded dice scheme, thought Drake had taken the money until Captain Logan went to work on him.
She's just what you call a all-around bad gal.
I'll say.
Well, takes all kinds to make a world.
That's so, Casey. But as my sister Edna says, quote, the only thing rotten eggs are good for is to make a skunk jealous. And who wants to arouse the emotions of a skunk?
Did you say unquote?
Oh, no, excuse me, unquote.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King oven glass, Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures, all products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Photographer is directed by John Dietz. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. Thursday night on CBS is the biggest show in town. So stay tuned for exciting dramatizations on Reader's Digest Radio Edition, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Hello, I hope I haven't kept you waiting. Yes, this is the Crime Club. I'm the librarian. No time for murder. Yes, we have that story for you. Come right over. You're here. Good. Take the easy chair by the window. Comfortable? The manuscript is on this shelf. Here it is. No Time for Murder. The very intriguing story of a clock that chimed in with death. Let's look at it under the reading lamp. It was early evening, and Peter Woods, a young lawyer, had time to kill before his appointment with Hilda Ryan, his fiancée. So he took a walk along Madison Avenue, which was practically deserted. Then he stopped to window browse outside a bookshop. He was just getting interested in some of the titles when he was joined by a couple.
What are you stopping here for, Dixie?
Maybe I like books.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just stalling for time, huh?
Oh, Steve! Oh, let go of my arm. You are hurting me.
Am I? Then let's get moving.
Oh, no.
Now, you don't really mean that, do you, baby?
Steve!
Excuse me, mister. I don't like to break into a love scene.
Well, then don't, pal.
Take your hand off her.
Okay, Sir Galahad. Now I'll give it to you.
Steve, don't. Oh, you knocked him out.
Huh?
With one punch.
Yeah. Maybe I'm stronger than I thought.
What is your name, honey?
Peter Wood.
Oh, Peter, darling. How can I thank you?
Now, look, Dixie.
If it had not been for you, I would have been...
You're just in time, officer. This girl was being molested.
Yeah, by who?
That man down...
What man down where, buddy?
Why, he's disappeared. He was just lying there, officer.
Let me smell your breath.
I'm not drunk. Ask this lady. She'll tell you what happened.
You bet I will. Officer, this man, Peter Woods, he tried to kill me.
You hear that? And if I hadn't stepped in, why... What? What did you say?
You tried to kill me. And all because...
Dear, darling, dear. Now, we've got a place for men like you.
Now, wait a minute. This girl's framing me.
Yeah? Well, tell it to the judge. He's a great one for fairy tales.
The accused, Peter Woods, having been charged by the complainant, Dixie Martell, with felonious assault with intent to kill, is remanded for questioning by the grand jury of this county. Bail is hereby set at $1,000.
Hello, Hilda Ryan speaking. And if it's you, Peter Woods...
It's me, Peter Woods.
Don't you dare say another word.
I'm sorry, Hilda.
You had an appointment to meet me here in my apartment at 7 o'clock. You were going to take me out to dinner and to the theater for the first time in 6 months.
I know, dear.
It's 11 o'clock now. Well?
I got tied up, honey.
Why didn't you call me?
I'm in the district attorney's office. I'd rather be with you, darling.
Oh, of course. Well, as long as you're working on a case.
Yes, honey, and it's all mine.
Well, I should hope so. You know what I think of lawyers who split fees.
You don't understand, dear. I'm the defendant, too.
You?
I'm being held for the grand jury.
Good heavens, what have you done?
Nothing.
Oh, no.
I mean it. I never saw that girl before in my life.
What girl?
Dixie Martell. I was walking along Madison Avenue, and she and a fellow by the name
What
of...
did she say you did to her?
Assault.
What?
With intent to kill. But she's out of her mind.
Why?
She told the judge in night court that I tried to pick her up. All right, dear. You're against me, too. I guess I'll be better off in jail.
Jail?
Well, that's where they're going to take me now. And if a jury believes that girl, I'll go to Sing Sing for 5 years. And I'll be disbarred.
Oh, Pete.
Feel sorry for me now?
Oh, I'm just a big dope.
Darling. If you could come down to the DA's office and bring $1,000...
Bring a what?
My bail money. Otherwise, I'll have to stay in jail until the grand jury gets around to me.
But where am I going to get $1,000 now?
How about your relatives?
I've been lending them money.
Oh. Well, can you get it here by morning?
That means I'll have to go to the bank.
Hilda, I love you.
Oh, my trousseau money.
You'll get it back. And we'll be married right after the jury says not guilty.
Yes. And it better say not guilty, or I'll see that you get life. Pete, if your girlfriend were home...
She's not my girlfriend, Hilda.
Well, all right, then. If Dixie Martell were in her apartment, she'd have opened that door long ago.
Don't think I haven't thought of it.
Then why do you keep buzzing?
Hope springs eternal.
Well, come on, we'll get some lunch and then come back. Maybe by that time...
I'm not giving up the watch, darling.
But we could be eating.
I'm going to be here when Dixie comes home, and she's going to tell me why she cooked up that...
Pete.
Take it easy, Hilda. It's not the mysterious traveler.
But the door...
I leaned against it.
Then it wasn't locked.
Now, how did you figure that out, darling?
Well, you said... Listen to me, Peter Woods. The next time you get into trouble, get somebody else to put up bail for you.
All right, find me another girl with trousseau money.
Pete.
Have you got one?
Are you going in there?
Of course.
But
We came here to see Dixie. Does that mean we've got to stand in the hall till she gets here?
I know, dear, but...
We can be sitting down. Look, comfortable chairs. And a sofa.
Pete, isn't there a law in this state against unlawful entry?
In a lot of states, Hilda.
Then why take chances of being arrested again? Aren't you in enough trouble? How many grand juries do you want to face?
You're right, sweetheart. Let's go back to the hall. Well, come on, will you? Before Dixie barges in. What's the matter with you?
Look. Behind the open door.
Don't tell me. Good grief.
Is that Dixie Martell?
It was, Hilda.
Oh, Pete.
Now it's just her mortal remains.
Well, Pete?
Yeah, she was strangled, Hilda.
Oh. Took you a long time to find out.
I was looking for a bullet wound or a knife wound, you know.
I'd rather not.
Then I noticed the marks on her throat. I thought there'd be fingerprint impressions, but there weren't.
Oh.
Whoever killed her must have worn gloves or used a... What's the matter, Hilda? Don't you feel well?
I couldn't feel worse.
Come on, let's get over to the window.
That won't do any good.
Fresh air.
Let's get out of here, Pete.
I can't.
You're not hypnotized, are you?
I can't run away from it, Hilda.
What are you talking about?
Murder.
Hmm?
Dixie's murder. The police will say I did it.
Oh, now.
Don't kid yourself, honey. They'd say it. And I'll have the devil's own time proving I didn't.
But what about me? Don't you think I'll have something to say?
Yeah.
After all, it isn't as if you found Dixie dead and then told me about it.
Yeah.
I was with you, and I've been with you all morning.
That's the trouble, darling.
What?
You posted bail for me.
Now, what in the world does that mean?
You've got a special interest in me, and when we tell the police and the district attorney that we're engaged to be married.
Oh.
Understand?
They'll say I'm prejudiced in your favor, and therefore... Oh, but Pete, what are we going to do?
There's only one thing, Hilda.
Yes?
I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court, and I'm not supposed to do it. I'm not supposed to conceal a crime.
Uh-huh.
As a matter of fact, no citizen should conceal a crime from the police. But in this case...
Thanks for coming out of the wherefores.
What?
Let's have the to-wit.
I don't follow you, Hilda.
Don't try. You just got lost in your legal training.
Well, as I was saying, in this case...
You're not going to tell the police about Dixie Martell.
That's right.
But, Pete, we can't just leave her here.
We'll have to, honey, until I find out who killed her.
Very, very interesting.
Well, hello, Steve.
So you're a lawyer, huh? What law school did you go to?
Not the one you're going to, Steve.
Oh, I've been there. And I learned the value of a closed door.
Pete.
It's too late, Hilda. The horse is in. Let's take a look at that eye, Steve.
From where you're standing,
Don't be afraid. I won't hurt your gun.
Pete, is that the man you told me about?
Yeah, the guy who threatened Dixie and got clipped.
Nice shade of blue I'm wearing this evening, huh?
Why did you come here, Steve?
Why?
I mean, at this particular time.
I get impulses, baby.
Like the one that strangled Dixie?
Huh?
Don't try to laugh it off, Steve. She tried to get away from you last night.
You don't say.
Are you denying it? You killed her, Steve. And before you left the building, you saw Hilda and me coming in, so you hung around.
Just to nab you with the goods, huh?
Why did you kill her?
Listen, pal, would your name be Peter Wood?
Never mind changing the subject.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I knew I saw that face someplace.
Madison Avenue.
Magistrate's Court last night. Say, is it true what Dixie said about you?
Okay, Steve, play dumb.
And she was a friend of mine, Pete. And now look at her behind the door. Oh, well, we'll have to tell the police about this, Petey boy.
Get away from that phone.
Don't be ridiculous. It's a public utility.
I'm with you, Steve.
Oh, you dumb clock.
No, you dumb clock. A lady screams and you turn around. Gentleman Steve.
I'll break you in half.
Swing him around this way, Pete. I'll hit him with this flower pot.
All right, Hilda.
It's not all right. Can't you two stop dancing for a minute?
I'll kill you, Wood.
No, Hilda.
No! There, that does it.
Thanks, you fatal charmer.
Pete. Oh, Pete, darling. I got the wrong man.
Right.
Pete.
All right, Hilda. Now.
Pete, will you ever forgive me?
No, Hilda.
It's all over, darling. I hit you by mistake.
Oh, this dumb clock. The lady screams. What did you say?
I was all set to hit him, Pete, and then he swung you around and
Oh, my aching head.
Is there something you'd like me to do?
Yes, but not now. Where's Steve?
He left with his gun.
Didn't he phone the police?
No.
Oh, so he was bluffing. Help me up.
Sit there for a minute. I've got something I'd like you to see.
Hilda.
This piece of paper.
What is it?
Read it.
All right, I can see straight. Repair ticket for a clock. So?
Well, when I hit you on the head with the flower pot, the pot broke and this ticket fell out.
Carl Andrews, jewelry sold, clocks repaired, 980 East 69th Street.
That should be on the next block, Pete.
Now, why should Dixie bury a repair ticket for an ordinary clock?
Maybe it isn't an ordinary clock.
Help me up, sweetheart. I think I've seen everything.
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Are you Mr. Carl Andrews?
I have been for 56 years. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, we have a ticket for a clock that was left here by Dixie Martell.
Miss Dixie Martell. Oh, yes. May I have the ticket, please? Thank you, sir. Let me see. Where did I put that clock? Oh, yes. I remember. Here it is. Shall I wrap it up?
Let's see it first.
Oh, of course.
Why, Pete, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, what would Dixie be doing with it?
You never can tell, Hilda. Maybe she used it to tell time.
But a thing like that...
It's a real antique, ma'am.
Well, that's what I mean, Mr. Andrews.
And very expensive. A collector's item, if you don't mind my saying so.
Oh, we don't mind.
Then perhaps you won't mind if I ask you a question. I am responsible for this clock, and, well, you are strangers to me. Of course, you brought in the ticket, but...
You want to know how we got it?
Yes. Please don't be offended.
We're not. A straight question calls for a straight answer.
Thank you so much.
We got it from Dixie.
Miss Martell to you.
Naturally.
She had to go away, a long vacation.
And, the poor girl. I told her she was working too hard. I guess being a nightclub dancer is a very difficult profession.
It keeps the girl on her toes, Mr. Andrews.
Of course, I do hate to lose a good customer, but what is best for her is... Well, you understand.
Perfectly.
Will she be coming back someday?
I don't think so. Her plans were very definite.
Oh, that is too bad. Well, if you should see her employer, tell him I'm sorry he's lost such a good performer.
Do you know her employer, too?
Oh, indeed I do. And Mr. Jackson is one of my best customers. He owns the Pelican Club on West 49th Street, you know. And the clocks there
are never on time.
I see you know, Mr. Jackson. Are you sure you wouldn't like me to wrap the clock for you?
Sure.
Oh, well, then, if you'll excuse me, I'll go back to my work. People get so angry when their clocks are not ready on time. A good day.
Same to you. Now, there's a sweet old man. Pete, the next time we have a clock that needs fixing or some jewelry that needs buying...
I'll keep it in mind. Hilda, didn't you notice something queer about that sweet old man?
Queer?
He didn't ask me to pay him.
Pay him for what?
The work he did on the clock.
Oh. Well, maybe Dixie did that before. You know, in advance.
Boy, how you women stick together. Come on, let's get a cab.
Pete, are you crazy?
You'll find out.
This isn't utopia. Cab rides cost money.
Take a look at the back of this clock.
A metal plaque.
Read it.
From the collection of S. Parker Jackson. Well, all right, Mr. Andrews said.
Don't you get it, honey? S. Parker Jackson.
Excuse me, dear. This is my dumb afternoon.
S. Parker Jackson might be the fancy moniker for a guy named Steve.
Oh. Oh!
Don't explode, darling. I need you. Oh, this darn traffic. It'll take us a year to get there.
Oh, well.
Hilda, for Jiminy's sake, will you stop playing with that clock?
I'm only trying to wind it, Pete.
Only trying. You've been turning that gimmick for 10 minutes. You must have broken the spring.
Well, we'll find out.
See? Hey, take it easy. That thing's an antique. You shake the guts out of it.
I've shaken something out of it.
A drawer.
In the base of the clock. Pete, look what's in it.
Let me see.
Stuck with glue or something.
Hilda, I love you.
Hmm?
These are diamonds.
What? Those 4 pieces of glass?
Uncut diamonds. I'll bet this drawer wasn't in the clock when Steve Jackson bought it.
Pete, do you know what you're talking about?
I've got an idea. Those robberies in the Diamond Center for the past year.
Oh, no.
You've read about them, haven't you?
Yes.
All right, dear, you're getting off at the next corner.
Oh, now, Pete.
No arguments, honey. I've got plans.
And I've got $1,000 wrapped up in you. Hard-earned money.
Do this for me, and I'll owe you my life.
Would you go to the Pelican Club without me?
Yes, dear. But you'll be there, too. In spirit. Hello, Mr. Jackson.
Huh? Well, Pete. Well, if it is my old friend. Come in. How's your head?
S. Parker Jackson.
Yeah, I come from good stock, bottled and bonded.
Yeah.
How'd you get in here?
I walked. That's quite an office you've got.
I like comfort.
And those clocks on the wall. Some collection. Mind if I look at them?
Who told you about this place?
A clock that Dixie had given to Mr. Carl Andrews for repair.
Andrews? Oh, Andrews. He does all my repair work.
Yes, so he says.
Where is that clock?
How much is it worth to you?
Let's say your life.
You talk big.
Where's that clock, Pete?
Now, look, Steve, I'm a lawyer. I get paid for asking questions.
You'll get paid off if you...
Yeah?
Okay, name your price.
Why does that clock mean so much to you?
It's valuable. It's the only one of its kind in the world.
A portable diamond mine,
What'd you say?
I'm giving the answers now, Steve. All those clocks on the walls, those rare antique clocks, are loaded with diamonds that were stolen from the Diamond Center.
That crack you got on the skull went right through the brain, didn't it?
Right through with a ticket. Now, let's have it, Mr. S. Parker Jackson. You killed Dixie Martell because she stole one of your clocks with diamonds in it.
Killed Dixie Martell?
Remember that body behind the door?
There's a hospital a few blocks from here. You better go there right away. Killed Dixie Martell?
Oh, that's very funny, isn't it?
What's a riot? A body behind the door. You've been seeing things, pal.
Now, wait a minute.
Dixie, a corpse. When she hears about this. Come on, I want you to tell her.
What?
Dixie Martell. She's upstairs rehearsing a new number.
You mean that she's here in this club?
Yeah, all here.
But, well then, who was the dead girl in her apartment?
Dead girl? What dead girl? Rehearsal room, Pete. Last stop.
Oh. So that's Dixie, huh?
Always was, pal. I'll introduce you to her. Cut it, baby.
Yes, sir, Dad. Hold it, sir.
Hi, Steve. Like the new routine?
Yeah. Dixie, I want you to meet Peter Woods.
From Hollywood?
Nah, from Hunger. He's a lawyer.
Oh. Well, if he's a friend of yours.
Now, listen, Miss What's-Your-Name.
It's Dixie Martell, honey.
Yeah, since when?
Say, what is this, Steve? A census taker?
A jerk, baby. Thinks you're a corpse.
What? A what?
You know, what people say nice things about.
You're misrepresenting, Steve. She's not the girl we saw.
She's Dixie Martell, Pete.
But she's not the... And you know it.
Don't you tell me who I am.
All right, I won't, but I'll tell you what you are.
Yeah? Go ahead.
You're a...
Waiting, mister.
You're a...
Well...
What's the difference? You're not Dixie Martell.
Get him out of here, Steve. Get him out before I wrap him up for burial.
Funny scene. Quite a funny scene.
The John's the matter with you, huh? I've got work to do. New routine that's got to be ready by tonight.
Well, then work. Let's go, Pete.
Yeah. Well, goodbye, Miss What's-Your-Name.
Oh, go feed yourself to the squirrels.
Some number, huh?
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Let's go down to your office, Steve. Maybe I'll find a number for you, too.
And here, Pete, some of the publicity we've sent out on Dixie. We're breaking tonight's papers.
With or without pictures?
With. And here's a couple of the pictures.
Oh. Steve, either you're a guy with plenty of gall or you're just plain...
You're getting weaker, pal.
These are pictures of the girl upstairs.
Dixie Martell.
What's the gag? Who do you think you're going to kid with this stunt?
Oh, you're getting tough again.
Now, look, Steve, I'm not crazy, and neither is Hilda. There was a dead girl in that apartment. We all saw her. You were going to phone the police.
Was I?
That girl was Dixie Martell, and the girl upstairs...
Oh, I have a feeling, I don't know, but perhaps I could make a... Oh, excuse me, pal. Yeah? Come on.
Oh, so you're still talking.
Oh, me? What is this?
Don't tell me you don't know. Aren't the dead supposed to be heard?
What?
Yes. You recognize the voice now, don't you? Dixie Martell.
No.
How does it feel listening to a ghost?
I'll let you know.
You thought I was dead, didn't you? You were so sure. The guy who does such a perfect job on everything.
Wait a minute, sweetheart. So you're mad, okay, but...
You tried to kill me. And why? Just because I swiped one of your lousy clocks with diamonds in it. Was that a reason for murder?
Oh, that's a big question, honey. I can't answer it now.
That's all right with me, Steve. You're through.
Women trouble, Steve?
Sort of.
Well, then you have too many.
It was your girl, Pete.
Huh?
Hilda. You put her up to it, didn't you?
Now, chum, if I knew what you were talking about.
She makes a very bad ghost, chum.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Don't reach for that gun, Steve. I've got one right here in my pocket.
That fact or fiction?
Don't try to find out.
Once a lawyer, always a lawyer?
What does that mean?
How much?
For you, 2,000 votes.
How about $50,000 for you?
In cash?
In cash.
All right, Steve. Get on that phone and call the police.
No dice, huh?
The police, pal.
Okay. What do I tell them?
About diamonds and Dixie and death.
You're really nuts.
Squirrel food. And while you're dialing the operator, you can tell me all about that girl upstairs you had posing as Dixie Martell.
Oh, you mean Mona?
Mona. A not-so-delectable slice of ham.
Oh, you're wrong, pal. She's very delectable. Very delectable. Nice work, Mona. Your timing was perfect.
Oh, thanks for leaving the door open, Steve.
Hey, everybody wants to get in the act. But you, baby, you belong.
Well, what do we do with him?
Leave him there. Come on, help me get the clock down from the wall.
Clock? But, Steve, we...
Come on, honey, time marches on. We've got to keep in step.
Pete.
Pete. Now, Hilda. All right, Hilda, now.
I didn't do it, Pete. You can't blame me for everything that happens to you. Now, get up.
Yeah, get up. Club. Hilda.
How do you do?
What happened to me?
That's what I'd like to know.
How did I get down? Oh, yeah. Somebody hit me on the head.
Who?
I don't know. Steve was standing over there. I had him covered with a gun I didn't have in my pocket.
A gun you didn't have?
I took a chance and he fell for it. Then he... I know.
Oh, now we'll get
It
someplace.
was Mona. It must have been Mona.
Who's Mona?
That girl in the rehearsal room who pretended to be... Hey, the clocks. What happened to the clocks?
Huh?
The clocks were in this room. The walls were covered with them.
Pete, you poor darling, you're delirious. 2 hits on the head in one day.
They're gone, Steve. Mona, clocks, and diamonds. Beat it.
Are you talking to me?
No. The clocks that were full of diamonds and those 2 killers.
Oh, dear. You mean I was Dixie's ghost for nothing?
Hilda, don't you realize the evidence is gone? And sooner or later, somebody will find Dixie's body in her apartment. The police will start asking me a lot of questions. What'll I tell them?
Oh, excuse me?
Oh, hello.
I'm looking for Mr. S. Parker Jackson. I have... Oh, haven't I seen you two before someplace?
Of course you have. We were the 2 folks who, you remember, Dixie Martell's clock?
Oh, yes. You will pardon my bad memory, I hope. How are you?
Oh, so-so.
Oh, that's too bad. And you, young lady?
You're fine, Mr. Andrews. And you?
Oh, I can't complain. Are you waiting for Mr. Jackson?
Who isn't? Is that a clock you've got in that package?
Yes, Mr. Jackson wanted me to repair it. A great rush. I had to promise to have it here exactly at this time. And now, will he be here soon?
Maybe, if we can reach him.
He hasn't gone away, has he?
Well, after a fashion. But you can leave the clock.
Leave it?
With me. I'll see that it gets into the right hands.
Oh, I am sorry I cannot do that.
Why not?
Mr. Jackson is very particular about his clocks.
But you aren't.
What?
The one you repaired for Dixie was a very bad job.
Why, Pete, that's right. It didn't go.
Took you a long time to remember that, Hilda.
How about you?
Took me a long time, too. Now, Mr. Andrews.
I am afraid I don't quite understand what you young people are talking about.
Well, then let me put it this way. That clock you've got wrapped up has got a drawer in it.
I did not notice.
A drawer you put in it. That's the kind of repair work that you've been doing for Steve Jackson.
I? Young man.
Shall we check?
Leave this package alone.
We're checking, Mr. Andrews.
I said, leave it alone.
Oh, Pete!
Oh, I'm sorry I did not mean to hurt you.
Well, the old guy's got a grip like a pair of handcuffs.
I'll come back later when Mr. Jackson...
Just a minute.
Don't stop me, young fellow.
You won't take me by surprise again. You never knew what was going into those clocks, did you?
I want you to get out of my way.
But when Dixie Martell brought a clock to you, not for repair, but for safekeeping, you looked in the drawer. You saw the diamonds.
I am warning you, young man.
You took them. That is, you thought you took all of them. Then you went to her apartment this morning and strangled her.
I am not going to warn you again.
It's no use, Mr. Andrews. I can wrestle, too. You strangled her.
No.
Just to make sure you could keep the diamonds. That wasn't nice, Mr. Andrews. That was murder. Oh, a hot dog, a bottle of pop, and thou.
I just can't get over it, Pete. Mr. Andrews.
He did it. The police found the diamonds in the back of his store.
Greed, greed, greed.
Once is too much, Hilda.
What people won't do for money.
Well, if they wouldn't do it, it'd be all right, but the trouble is they do. You can't beat it, honey. Ask Mr. Andrews. And when you get through asking him, you can ask Steve and Mona.
You think they'll get 20 years?
Maybe 30. But if I were the judge...
Someday, darling.
Yes. Come on, let's get some peanuts.
Pete, what made you suspect Mr. Andrews?
I was alive.
What?
And I wouldn't have been if Steve were a killer.
Oh, you mean...
That's right. I knew too much about his business. But he didn't kill me. And so, when Andrews came in...
Make it simple, dear.
I took a chance, that's all, and it worked. Well, where can I get peanuts around here?
Are you going to eat them?
Why not? Squirrels do. Are we any better? We're not even as smart.
And so closes tonight's story, No Time for Murder. Stedman Coles wrote the radio script. Roger Bauer produced and directed. Myron McCormick played Peter Woods. Charlotte Lawrence was Hilda Ryan. Raymond Edward Johnson was Steve Jackson. Cameron Prudhomme played Carl Andrews. And Gene Ellen was Dixie Martell. Oh, I beg your pardon. Hello. I hope I haven't kept you waiting. Yes, this is the Crime Club. I'm the librarian. Yes, come over a week from tonight. Good. We have the very unusual story of a trip that was arranged by death. It's called Cowhide. In the meantime? Well, in the meantime, there's a new Crime Club book available this week and every week at bookstores everywhere. Yes, it's available now. Fine. And we'll look for you next week.
This program came from New York. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Mr. District Attorney, champion of the people, defender of truth, guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The case of charity never began.
The wind's chilly, John. Should we go inside with the others?
Not yet, Molly. Read me that last part again.
My goodness, I'll have the newspaper worn out. You mean where it tells about us?
Please, I could read it myself, but my glasses...
Of course, John. Well, first it tells about how Dr. Harold founded Maple Lodge here. You know, for older people.
Oh, he was a wonderful man, Molly.
I know. Then it goes on to tell about his death.
And Mr. Fay.
Yes, that part's right here. Attorneys said later today that because Dr. Dennis left no will, Maple Lodge becomes the property of his nephew, Gerald Fay of Chicago.
He's not even a doctor?
It doesn't say, John, just that he announced plans to continue the lodge as before.
Does it mention this woman he brought with him?
Miss Mills? No, it doesn't.
Mrs. Benson says she's pretty.
Well, I wouldn't say pretty exactly, John. If she's a good nurse, that's all I ask.
Oh, Molly Fulton, at your age.
What, John? Now, I don't see what's funny, John Colby. Tell me.
You aren't afraid I'd caught her, are you, Molly?
Miss Mills? Oh, you won't ever fake. John, someone's coming. Yes?
Aren't you supposed to be in your rooms?
What? Oh, Miss Mills.
In our rooms, Miss Mills? But we were waiting here on the porch.
Oh, for lunch, he means. Today's Wednesday. We'll have corn fritters this noon, you know, and John just loves them.
Apparently you didn't hear me, Mrs. Fulton. Mr. Fay says you're to stay in your rooms.
Miss Fulton, and I certainly don't see...
No one's asking you to see anything. Now, will you get off the porch, both of you?
Molly.
I don't want to have to tell you again. And never mind about lunch. It'll be late.
Never.
She isn't very pretty, is she, Molly?
No, John, she isn't. Now I wonder about Mr. Fay.
Mr. Fay, Chief. Go right in, please.
Thank you, Miss Miller, isn't it?
That's right.
Thanks, honey. Mr. District Attorney?
Yes, come in, Mr. Fay. I see you've met Miss Miller.
We spoke outside, Chief.
Oh, yes. And this is Mr. Harrington.
Hi. How do you do?
Well, sit down, won't you? Sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, not at all. I'll get right down to business, D.A.
Yes.
I suppose you know about Maple Lodge, the old folks' home? That's right, Mr. Harrington. Belonged to my uncle, Dr. Harold Dennis.
Oh, yes, I had the pleasure of meeting your uncle several times, Mr. Fay. We were all sorry to hear of his death.
The whole community was. Everyone says Maple Lodge was such a fine place.
Oh, not was, Miss Miller. Is. And if Jerry Fay has anything to say about it, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, the paper said something about you running it.
Yeah, I came the minute I heard Harrington. Just dropped everything in Chicago and came on. I owe that much to Uncle Harold's memory.
Yeah. You're a doctor, are you?
No, sir. I'm not. D.A., Maple Lodge needs your help. I don't mind saying, after I sized up the situation out there, I came right to you.
Help about what?
Well, it's a good home, sure, but it needs support, D.A., public interest. Publicity, if you want to put it that way.
You mean money?
In a way, yes.
In other words, Mr. Fay, you want to raise funds. Is that it?
Can you think of a worthier institution, D.A.?
Well, Maple Lodge has a right to accept charity, of course. As I recall, the guests pay only a moderate fee to live there.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. But with outside help, a few donations here and there, well, I can make the place a paradise.
Yeah, sure.
So, what am I going to do? Get ink, Harrington, ink. That's an old newspaper phrase, means publicity.
Yeah, I know.
Will you help, Mr. D.A.? A speech from you, a banquet, or a dedication, something like that. That'd be a great start.
Yes, well, this isn't a publicity office, Miss Fay. You know that. And still, we've never refused our help where we think it's needed.
Well, that's fine. Then I can count on you. Oh, and say, you come out and get to know our people, will you? You too, Miss Miller? I'm telling you, they'll tear your heart out.
Oh?
Yes. Well, you're a busy man, D.A. So am I. You'll hear from me soon.
Yes, thank you for coming in, Mr. Fay.
Oh, thank you. Don't bother, Miss Miller. I can find the door. Thanks again.
So long, Fay.
Goodbye, Mr. Fay.
Did you say something, Harrington?
Well, I don't get it, Chief.
Well, seems clear enough, I suppose. A place like Maple Lodge can always use donations.
Yeah, but that guy, well, everything he said stacks up okay, but...
You ask me, he makes me creep.
Exactly, Miss Miller. Me, too.
Yes, I know what you mean. He seems to have the best of intentions, but still, something about him makes me wonder.
Hey, Karen, did you see the Eagle? They put that feature story on page 3.
Great. You want a drink, Jerry?
Now, lay off, I told you. I told you that'd make the papers, kid. John and Molly. Loving the old folks home.
Well, one of your lovebirds is cooling his heels outside.
What, up here in the office?
The old man, John. I told him to just sit and wait.
Now, what's he want now?
How should I know? He complains all the time. They all do.
Any more trouble in the dining room?
Sure, they were yelling about the mashed potatoes. Where'd you learn that trick with the air hose?
Honey, that's as old as the hills. You shoot air into a pot of mashed potatoes, you end up with a mountain of them.
That's what they taste like.
Well, so what? Hey, did I tell you I saw the DA?
4 times. So he's going to make a speech. So what?
All right, look, I know this ain't a picnic, but will you stop griping?
I don't like institutions. They remind me of places.
Well, you like dough, don't you? Give me 6 months with this layout and we can retire.
In 6 months, you'll have a mutiny. They're all yelling, I tell you. Take that old fool outside.
They can be handled. Send them in.
They ought to be in straitjackets, if you ask me.
Now, take it easy.
All right, come on. I mean.
I've been waiting a long time, Miss Mills.
Have you got anything better to do?
Well, what's on your mind, John? I'm busy this morning.
When Dr. Harold had this office, we didn't have to walk up the stairs.
My uncle is dead. We can't have you people using the elevator, John. You might get hurt.
Is that what you wanted, to holler about the elevator?
I don't want to holler about anything, Miss Mills. It's about the paper this morning.
The paper?
There's a story about Miss Fulton and me, Mr. Fay. Everyone's talking about it.
Oh?
It seems to say that we're in love, I think, is the wedding.
Does it?
Now, don't you go ignoring him, Mr. Fay. We won't stand for it.
You won't what?
I didn't come up here to argue, Miss Mills. We found out what good that does.
Now, just a minute, old timer.
No, Mr. Fay, you listen to me. A story like that is cheap and insulting, both to Miss Fulton and to me.
Well, I'll
handle this, Karen. Go back to your room, John.
I will. Only let this be a warning to you, my boy. We won't stand for it. None of us here. We won't stand for a lot of things.
Mr. Fay said to go to your room.
Both of you. You think we're old and helpless. Well, we're not. You go too far, you'll see. You hear me? You'll see.
Well, what do you know? The old goat slammed the door on you.
You know something, Karen? That old goat can go too far.
All right, Mr. Fay. If it was a mistake, I'm sure you'll call the papers and correct it. No trouble. All right, and thanks.
What'd he say, Chief?
Well, he saw the papers, Harrington. He admits that much at least.
Saw them?
Yes.
Why, golly, it's in every paper in town. Look at this headline here. Movie star's mother welcome to old folks' home.
Yeah, how do you explain it, Chief?
Why, he says he merely called the newspapers and said she'd be welcomed at a reception out there.
He what?
Yes, that's his explanation, Miss Miller. He meant she'd attend the party, and the papers took it to mean that she was going to live there.
Oh, brother. Now I've heard them all.
Yes, it impresses me as questionable, to say the least. However, he promised to call the papers and correct the matter.
Well, he'd better.
You know, Chief, I got a thought about Mr. Fay.
Yes. I've had quite a few myself in the last week or so.
Well, it's nothing I can put my finger on, understand? But all these newspaper stories, all this high-powered publicity.
Well, I think it's disgusting. And another thing, all those stories about Molly and John, you know, the two old people in love, that's so cheap.
Yeah. Well, go on, Harrington.
Well, it's just a thought, Chief. Like Miss Miller says, he operates kind of cheap.
I'll say so.
So how'd it be if I call a few of the boys in Chicago and ask some questions? You know, just to see who he really is.
I got news for you, Jerry. He's waiting outside again.
John? I kind of expected it. Molly with him?
She can't climb the stairs.
You know what to do if things get rough.
How rough can they get?
Never mind. That story made every paper in the state. And what a picture.
Look, Jerry, it's your show. Way back in Chicago, I just came along for the ride.
We're doing okay, baby. Another week of build-up, I'll start yelling for donations.
But
touch off the campaign with the DA himself making a speech.
Look, will you let me on? You're going overboard, kid.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just what I said. That break about the Star's mother, that wasn't so good.
All right, so we apologize. Maple Lodge still made the papers, didn't it?
Okay, let that one ride. But if I were you, I'd lay off John and Molly. The old man will blow his top.
We're ready for that one, aren't we?
Well?
I said, aren't we?
I'll let him in. You can come in now.
Good morning, John.
Mr. Fay.
Sit down, won't you?
What I have to say, I can do standing up. I've written a letter, Mr. Fay. Molly made 3 copies.
A letter to who?
Let John finish, Miss Mills.
To the newspapers. I have them right here. You see?
Well, I'll be glad to look at them, John. You know that?
I'll keep them, Mr. Fay. Yes, and I'll see that they're mailed, too.
Well, what do they say, John? We'd be interested.
I should think you would be. They're about the lodge, Miss Mills. The bad food. The way we have to stay in our rooms. How you got rid of the radio. Everything.
Oh?
And what's more, we've told the papers the truth about these cheap publicity stories.
I see. Oh, Miss Mills, you have something to attend to outside, I believe?
Now, Mr. Fay?
Yes, I think so. We'll excuse you. Run along.
Whatever you say.
All right, John. Let's get at it. You're going to mail those, are you?
I am. Unless things change, sir, and change mighty fast.
I see.
You seem to forget we have rights here. All of us, we paid when we came. Our life savings, some of us.
Now go on.
That was the understanding with Dr. Harold. We paid, and in return we're to be cared for.
Well, I think you're just excited, John. Folks don't like the food. Well, we'll fix that immediately.
Oh, it isn't only the food.
All right, everything then. We'll get new radios. A lot of them.
And the newspaper stories?
About you and Molly? Not another one, John. After all, I didn't realize you'd object. It was just well, call it a human interest angle.
We object strenuously.
Then they'll stop. Now, anything else?
Why, no. No, I think that's all. I must say, this surprises me.
Why? Because I want to do the right thing? Oh, come, John. Give me a chance. I want you people to be happy. Just takes time for me to learn, that's all.
You know, I believe you mean that, Mr. Fay. I'll tell the others.
Why, of course I mean it. Now, you go back downstairs and you forget all about it. Everything's going to be just fine.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Fay. I will. Yes, thank you.
Well, it's dark here at this landing. I must put in a light.
What? Oh, yes. Thank you again, sir. I'll tell the... Oh!
Say, what happened?
Is that you down there, Miss Mills? Hurry, will you? The old man fell down the stairs. day like this to visit us, D.A.
Yes, it happened this morning, you say, Mr. Fay?
Yes, that's right. The poor man wanted to see me, and since the elevator's out of order, he had to use the stairs.
What's the matter with the elevator?
I don't know, Mr. Harrington. I've got a man coming this afternoon.
Oh, what about Molly? She must feel terrible.
She does, Miss Miller. John's death was a terrible blow to all of us.
Well, we won't bother her at a time like this.
We're going to have a service tomorrow, D.A. It would mean a lot if you could make it.
That's what I'll try, Mr. Fay. Will you check my calendar when we get back, Miss Miller?
I will, Chief.
Well, I'll be glad to show you around now, D.A. Though, as I say, it's a sad day here at the lodge.
No, we won't stay. You ready, Miss Miller?
Yes, I'll get the door.
Come again, won't you? Tomorrow, if you can.
No, we'll be seeing you, Fay.
Yes, goodbye.
Poor old man. I almost feel as though I'd known him.
So do I. You know,
What happened, Miss Miller?
I'm all right. I think.
Here, let me help you. Sure you're all right?
All right,
Can
sure.
you stand?
Sure. Honestly, Chief, I just
Slipped. I'll say you did. Hey, look at your sleeve.
What? Oh, no. My new coat, too.
You must have torn it on the tread.
Yeah.
Say, I don't like this, Harrington. Stairs like these in a home for the aged. I don't like it at all.
I shouldn't have to tell you, Molly. Don't come into this office without knocking, ever.
I'll take her back to her room.
Just keep your hands to yourself, Miss Mills. And as for coming up here, you just try and stop me.
No. You're upset, Molly. We all are. John's death is a tragedy.
Listen to me, young man. I may be old, but I'm not a fool. There's something going on here.
What do you mean by that?
I mean I'm leaving, for one thing. And I'm going to find somebody on the outside who'll listen to me.
How can you leave, Molly? Didn't you give my uncle your savings when you came?
Mr. Fay is right, Molly. You'd be a public charge.
Would I? It may interest you to know John gave me his bonds, young lady. War bonds, good as gold.
Oh?
I think you'd better come back to your room, Molly. Now.
Get your hands off me. You don't frighten me.
No one wants to frighten anybody, Molly.
I know that. You can't afford another accident, can you? What? You heard me. You think we don't know the district attorney was here at this noon?
That's none of your business.
No, well, it's going to be, young man, and don't think it isn't.
You come with me, Jerry. Let's go.
Put her in her room, Karen.
Come on.
And when you get her there, lock the door.
Well, this'll help, Chief.
Yes?
I got the reports from Chicago.
On Jerry Fay, Harrington?
Himself. He sure ain't had much practice taking care of old people, Chief.
Oh?
Now, as far as the boys can figure, he used to sell slot machines.
What?
That's right. He's been picked up 4 or 5 times on suspicion. Served a year once for assault.
Well, how in the world did Dr. Dennis get a nephew like that?
Well, that's here, too. Apparently, the old man never even laid eyes on him.
Oh, I remember that when he died. The papers mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, the fact remains he's got his hands on Maple Lodge.
Yeah, some place for old folks, all right. Stairs like that. Oh, how's your arm, Miss Miller?
Oh, I'm all right, Harrington. I just bruised it a bit when I tore my coat.
You went back and examined those stairs, Harrington?
That's like you said, the Chief.
Yes.
They're steep, but they're sound. No building inspector would condemn them.
How about the elevator?
Well, I fixed it. At least it was running this afternoon.
Oh, Harrington, did you see Molly?
No, I didn't, but I asked about her. That dame said she was resting. I guess the old man's death must have hit her pretty hard.
Oh, sure.
Yes, it hits me hard, too. There's nothing definite to go on, but still...
Yes, Chief?
Well, there's something wrong out there, and I want to know what it is.
Now, look, Jerry, either you go with me or I'm clearing out alone. I can go back to that dice table in Chicago, you know.
Will you calm down? There's no need to blow your top.
How isn't? With the DA here this morning and that Harrington jerk back again this afternoon?
Well, so what? Did they find anything?
He asked for Molly, didn't he? You can't keep her locked up forever, you know.
I can take care of her.
How? Another accident?
Maybe.
Oh, you're crazy, Jerry. We're not even sure the DA buys the first one.
All right, I'll think of something else.
What?
Oh. Look, I'm telling you, I've got this all set up now for a pitch. I've got enough publicity, we can get real dough. People go for charity stuff, baby. You know that.
Charity begins at home, Buster. I want to go back there.
Yes, and admit there was something phony. Don't be stupid. The thing now is to think.
Oh, great. Well, start thinking, chum. Start with old Molly, locked up in her room.
You want my idea, Chief?
Yes.
Let's go out there and tear that place apart.
But with what kind of a warrant, Harrington? We can make an inspection, that's true. And you know how much that would bring.
Well, if you do go, be careful of the stairs.
Stairs?
Oh, I was just kidding.
Yes, I know, Miss Miller. Only those stairs bother me, and they have ever since... Miller.
Yes, Chief.
That coat you were wearing, the one you tore.
Oh, my green one.
Yes, is it here?
Why, well, yes, Chief. I was going to take it out and have it fixed.
May I see it, please?
Why, sure, it's in the closet here.
I don't follow you, Chief.
Well, it may be nothing, Harrington, but still, I have an idea.
Which is the room?
Molly's, the last one on the list.
All right, come on. You got the rest of them safe?
No, they're all in their rooms. Jerry, wait.
Now what?
Well, you're just going to talk to her, aren't you?
What's the matter with you? You getting soft?
I just mean don't start anything rough, that's all. She gets hurt, you'll never explain it.
That depends on how bad she gets hurt. Now, go on, open up. You got the keys?
Right here. Only watch it, will you? We're in deep enough right now.
Open the door.
Yes? Who? Oh.
Mind if we come in, Molly? Shut the door, Karen.
What do you want? Mr. Fay told you. We want to talk.
I'll talk, all right. I've been locked in here like a prisoner.
Yes, well, that was a mistake, Molly. We're sorry.
And, John, that was a mistake, too? What? Don't play innocent with me, the two of you. I don't know what you're trying to do, but it's not right, and I'm going to the police.
I don't think you'd do that, Molly.
Wouldn't I? Oh, I've thought this over, my young friend. You can't stop me if you tried.
Can't I?
There's no stairs here, Mr. Fay.
Jerry.
I'll handle this, Karen. Now, you get something straight, Molly. Once and for all.
I think I have.
You're old. Not only that, people don't care about you.
That's not true.
Suppose you had a heart attack or something. Right here in this room, let's say.
Don't you talk that way.
You think anybody would really care? Just another poor old woman, they'd say. They have to die sometime, you know.
Jerry.
Shut up. You see what I mean, Molly?
Don't come near me. I warn you.
I've had enough out of you, you old hag. All I have to do is hold my hand over your mouth.
Jerry, no.
Go.
Jerry, you fool, let her go. Jerry, go.
Meddling old hag, you.
Jerry, look out.
What?
Let me go.
Mother, this was going to hurt.
Oh, Molly,
Yes, it's all right, Molly. Here, sit here on the bed.
Call the doctor, Brophy.
There we
And
are.
take this woman with you.
Everything's going to be all right.
Molly, you okay?
He won't hurt me, Willie. He was trying to kill me.
Oh, he won't hurt you, Molly. Not where he's going. We want him for murder. All right, pick him up, Harrington, and let's go.
Listen again, same time, same station, when we again present Mr. District Attorney. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program with authentic police case histories.
Of the Mound City Safecracker, who found that a flask of liquor was more risky to handle than a vial of nitroglycerin.
Gangbusters has asked Detective Lieutenant John Sinclair, Police Department, St. Louis, Missouri, to narrate by proxy tonight's case. Lieutenant Sinclair, you've told me tonight's case began in a cheap hotel on Market Street near the Union Station in St. Louis, Missouri, about 2 years ago.
That's right, Don Gardner. Room 18 had been occupied for the last few days by one James Moore, notorious Boston safecracker. But Moore was no longer trusted by his associates in the East. The reason was quite evident from a glance at the empty bottles in his room. Moore was spread across the bed, fully clothed, sleeping it off. As the noonday sun flashed in under the flapping black shade, the door to his room opened. But Mr. Moore didn't move.
Okay, there he is. Come on. Okay, Moore, on your feet. Come on. I said on your feet.
Left right, straight right.
Get up, I said.
And none of your sludge from the bottom of the Charles River bartender. You get her right back in the eye.
Snap out of it, will you? I've got all day.
There's my drink.
I'll give you a drink. Here's a drink for you.
Water.
Sure, it's water. You want more of it?
Oh, now I know you. You're a tin badge of a St. Louis copper.
Keep those hands to yourself now.
I'll take more than one of you Perry pups for a policeman to haul Jim Moore in today.
Come on. You grab us other arm.
Huh? Oh, no. Not by no fluttering female policeman will I be taken through the streets like a cow being led by a milkmaid. Not by no female policeman.
Grab him, baby. Come on.
Hold it a minute, Robbie. Come with us, Moore. There's a bottle outside the car. There's this much in it.
A lure into the trap of doom.
We're not cops. Can't you get it through your head?
Huh?
No.
How much you say was in that bottle?
This much.
And home, we got it by the case.
How's the weather out? Do I need my rubbers?
The weather's fine.
To what fortunate turn of nature do I owe this generosity, my boy? And, my girl?
I figured you'd like to do a little teaching.
Teaching? If I'm to teach, who's the student?
Me. I want to learn all about drills. And punches. And knobs and nitroglycerin.
By the case, huh?
But one bottle at a time.
Yeah, well, one bottle at a time is enough for one man at a time. Well, what are we waiting for?
Easy there.
It's my underpinning needs a little shoring.
Just hold on to us. We'll get you there.
That's right. Now you just slip your arm around me there, sweetheart. We'll all go out together. Stick around.
I give up. He's a rummy. Let's face it, it's no use.
Taught you plenty in 2 weeks, Robbie. So it'll take a little longer than you figured.
Will you stop that sewing machine? Him with the bottle, you with your sewing. You both drive me nuts. If you need a dress so bad, why don't you go out and buy one?
It's hard to fit in the shoulders.
Why I ever had this crazy idea, I don't know. I'm going back to being a gunman. You walk in, you put a heater on them, you get their dough. That's all there is to it. You don't have to be a mechanic.
Do what you like, Robbie. I still think it's a good idea.
Would you shut that thing off before I throw it out the window?
Oh.
Every time I look at him, I hate him more.
Why? What's he done to you?
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at myself 30 years from now.
Why don't you try taking the bottle away from him? When he gives, you give.
That don't work either. He may be the best safecracker ever to come out of Boston, but he sure needs a lot of lubrication. All morning he's been trying to explain to me about keeping nitroglycerin at body temperature. I should keep it under my belt next to the skin.
Yeah. I'll try it the way he says. Somebody will have to come pick me off the roof. With a shovel.
Robbie.
What?
You think these buttons would be nice on here? Or covered ones?
Oh, who cares?
What happens after you finish learning everything he knows?
He'll go along on a job with me. One job.
That won't make him happy.
Who wants to make him happy? They're going to catch the old rumhead. Right in the act.
Hey. Isn't that kind of dangerous for you?
It's the safest way I can think of. We go over to some small town across the river. We break into a store. I work with him till almost time to set her off, and then I go out after the car. Boom. The cops are there. First thing you know, Moore's in Joliet or someplace where he won't give me any more trouble.
Oh, now, that's not right, and it's not fair.
Who cares what's fair? He's off our hands. Let me get back to the professor. I'll talk to you about it later. That's got it pegged right here.
Okay.
Leave the lights on. Moore. Take the stuff and start to Jimmy the back door. I'll be there in 2 minutes. Go on, take the stuff. Don't forget the bottle, Robbie. Get out of here. Start on that door. Hurry along, Robbie. Just get that door, Jimmy, you hear? All right, Peg. Now you drive to the tavern and wait there. 11:45 on the dot. Phone the sheriff's office. Tell them you were passing by. Thought you saw somebody inside the clothing store.
Robbie, you're looking for trouble.
Stop worrying. I ought to be at the tavern by the time you get off the phone.
Suppose your watch stops. Suppose Moore doesn't do it.
Do it the way I said. Get rid of that bottle, baby. This is the best way I can think of.
When they pick him up, he'll talk.
Somebody looking for me in Illinois. They're looking for me anyway.
Okay, Robbie.
Look. Pack you in, kid. When we hit Chicago, I'll line up the best crew of safecrackers ever worked the Midwest. Go on. How's this for timing?
Wonderful.
What's the sheriff's office say?
They're sending somebody to investigate.
Perfect. Well, what are you thinking?
Come on, Robbie, let's get out of here.
What's your hurry?
I just don't like sticking around, that's all.
I thought it'd be kind of fun to keep our distance and watch them haul that old lush in. This will cure him. You won't get a drink for 6 years at least.
Robbie, please, come on, let's go.
All right, baby. Not a bad idea, that. With a good start, we ought to make Chicago before daybreak.
So, Don, Robert Lee Robertson, the St. Louis bandit turned safecracker, headed for Chicago to organize a gang of burglars who would lead Midwest authorities, both federal and local, on a wild chase, until a vial of nitroglycerin blew the gang's hopes sky high.
Now back to Gangbusters.
Now, you were telling us, Lieutenant Sinclair, how Robert Lee Robertson turned from banditry to safecracking, employing the technique of an old-time burglar whom he used as a tutor.
That's right, Don. And within a few weeks, the gang was striking so often and so swiftly that law enforcement officers from each of 4 states met in Chicago one day with agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and post office inspectors. As the meeting progressed, Captain George Mantell, safe and loft expert of the Chicago Police Department, was called on for his opinion.
And as it stands, gentlemen, these criminals are running from one jurisdiction to another, hitting small towns, avoiding big cities like Chicago and St. Louis.
Captain Mantell.
Yes?
Is it your opinion that Robertson is working small towns, then running back to Chicago, for instance, to lay out until his next job?
Yes, I was going to ask that. Yes, I'd say that's probably what they're doing. Now, Special Agent Wright of the FBI has a suggestion. I think it might help us as much as anything. Mr. Wright?
Well, gentlemen, what will help us most is information. Any scrap that's picked up by members of any of your departments should be forwarded here to Chicago, either to me or to Captain Mantell.
Good idea.
We'll sift every bit of information we get. We'll piece it together with what we already have. Maybe with a little teamwork among all of us, we'll be able to locate these men and get enough evidence to convict them.
Oh, Peg, come in.
Everything okay?
Couldn't be better.
Robbie?
Is it okay?
Yeah, okay, come on.
All right, Peg, get inside. Hey, Robbie. Hold on. Where's Cardinal? Yeah. Has he got the new guy? Yep.
Hey, where's that sewing I left here last night?
How should I know? How does he look to you, Miller?
Up right there on the table.
Will you stop worrying about your pins and needles?
I've been working a month on that blouse.
I didn't touch it.
Well, somebody did.
Okay, who cares?
Don't leave anything around you guys.
Miller. Yeah? What do you think of this new guy?
Well, Cargill says he knows his stuff.
I can find that out from Cargill. What do you think of?
He looks okay to me. Good man with the soup, they say.
Cargill, come in here. Want to talk to you.
Robbie,
Yeah, what?
now that we're back in Chicago, can't we stay here a couple of days?
No.
Well, when are you going to spend all this money?
When I retire.
When you retire. What the devil happened to that sewing?
Hello, Robbie.
Cargill?
Come on, meet this guy, Robbie. He knows his business.
Cargill, did you see my sewing?
Will you shut up?
Oh, for...
Where's he from?
The East.
Where in the East?
I don't know. Did he tell you, Miller?
Why should he tell me?
What kind of a deal is this? You bring me a knob knocker, you don't know where he's from.
He's okay. I'm telling you, he's okay.
We'll see. Miller.
Yeah, Robbie?
When I'm talking to this guy, take the car around back. Put those new Nebraska plates on it.
Right, boys.
Come on, Robbie. I'll introduce you to this guy.
I can introduce myself.
Okay.
Hi, I'm the... Peg. Peg.
What, Robbie?
Come in here.
What is it? I'm looking for Hello, Moore.
So you're the big soup man from the East.
You should have come back for me that night, Robbie, my boy. The safe was loaded with currency of every denomination and 2 quarts of Kentucky bourbon bottled in bond.
Well, if you'll excuse me.
Peg, come here.
What is it, Robbie?
You know this whiskey head was here.
No, I didn't.
You know he was the old fish that were going to spring on me.
Have a drink, Robbie. Have yourself.
I'll give you a drink.
Robbie! Oh.
Get out of here, Peg. Go on, get out.
Robbie,
Go on, get out.
All right.
Wait for me out there.
She's a sweet one, Robbie. Sweet like the morning dew before the mountain sun comes up.
Okay, never mind the poetry. One thing I want to find out from you and then walk out of here and forget you ever seen the place. I don't want no rum pots under my nose.
I'm afraid you're stuck with me, Robbie.
Now, listen here.
Hands off. Here's one bottle you won't be so quick to knock on before. Nitroglycerin. My nitroglycerin.
Put that soup on the table, Moore, and walk out of here.
You're not feeding me whiskey an ounce at a time now, Robbie. I'm doing the feeding, and I'm giving the orders. From now on, I'm a full partner in your noble aggregation.
That's what you say.
You'll say it, too, Robbie. You'll say it with words of welcome or the bottle smashes on the floor like you smashed that bottle of good red whiskey.
Is that so?
I swear it by all the oaths my father taught me. I'm in, huh, Robbie? I'm in, or I blow us both in the house to who knows where.
You're not in.
I've lived a long time, Robbie, and I waited a long time for right now. Say yes, or hold onto your hat.
Get out of here, Moore.
The orders are coming from me. Jim Moore, master of the strain. Say yes. Say you're in, Moore. Say it.
You haven't got the nerve. Go on, blow us up. Well, what are you waiting for? Go on.
you win, Robbie. I couldn't smash the bottle, not even for a place in heaven insured.
Give me that soup, you.
Give it. Now, Robbie, no.
All right, sit down there. Go on, sit down.
Robbie, no.
Shut up. Thanks for handing me the little idea about another use for the nitro. I'll remember it if I ever get on a spot. Only you and me are different, Moore. When I have to, I'll smash the bottle.
Pity a poor soul who was once king of all, Robbie.
Pity you are. I'll put you out of your misery.
Oh, Robbie. Robbie, no!
Cargill, Miller.
Miller went out to the car.
Go in there and watch that guy. Don't let him out of your sight.
Ain't he all right?
Get in there and watch him. Will you?
Hey, don't get excited.
Peg. I ought to pin your ears back for this.
For what?
You didn't call the cops that night.
I did, Robbie. I did exactly what you told me.
Don't lie to me.
Let go.
What do you think I'm running around here? What do you think I'm running? An old folks' home?
Robbie, stop.
You didn't call the cops, did you? Did you?
I couldn't. Not on the old guy. I couldn't.
When I tell you to do something, you'll do it.
All right, Robbie. All right. From now on, anything you say.
You bet your life you do anything I say.
Anything.
Hey.
Hey, Robbie.
No Nebraska plates are on a car. Okay. We'll leave in 20 minutes.
What about the new guy? We taking him along on a job?
We're taking him along, but not on the job. He gets dumped about halfway.
Robbie.
What's the matter? He seemed okay to me.
Well, you don't count.
You're not going to kill him.
You want to go along?
What do you think you are, Capone or somebody? Just a small-time hoodlum that's had a little luck.
That's enough.
Just a little luck, that's
One
all.
more peep out of you and you'll be the safe ditches more, you hear? Now find your soul and sit down in that chair and do it. Don't go out, don't call nobody, don't do nothing. You just sit there and sew. When I get back, we'll settle this thing between you and me once and for all.
FBI, Special Agent Wright.
This is Captain Mantell. We just got our hands on a bit of information about Robertson.
Oh, anything good, Captain?
Well, I can't say. But Robertson's supposed to have just gotten a set of Nebraska license plates.
Yes?
The last three numbers are 061. I put it out on the teletype, and all radio points will pick it up for broadcast. Maybe this is the break that we've been waiting for.
Look, Robbie, I don't want to get mixed up in no killing. I got nothing against the guy. Yeah, Robbie, just tell me why. If you tell me why, then it might be okay.
It's okay because I say so. Drive, Cargill, that's all. Just drive. And you, Miller, keep your mouth shut.
Let me kill the bottle before you give me the push, Robbie.
Shut up.
If you think I'm scared, you're thinking right. Gee, I wish they had more of a load on. If they had more of a load on it, it'd be like dropping off into a feather bed.
Shut up, will you? There's a spot up ahead, Cargill.
Look, Robbie,
Okay, that's enough. It'd be just like you, more to come back and haunt me.
You could count on it, Robbie.
All right, where'd you rather have it? In the head or in the belly?
Let me go. Let me go, Robbie.
I'm doing you a favor, rum-dum. Make up your mind. Where?
Robbie, it's cops.
Hey, get moving. Get moving, Cargill.
Don't worry. State Highway Patrol, Robbie.
They must have made the license plate. Go on faster. I guess you get a reprieve, Moore.
For once in my life, I wish the cops well.
Go on.
Down to the floor. We're pulling away from him.
Cargill.
Yeah?
Douse the lights.
Right.
There's a side road over the hill. Tuck into it.
We can't run on a side road.
Maybe we'll lose them. Not that it's okay. There's enough of us. We'll fight it out and double back Chicago.
What about him?
He stays with us. For the time being. Go on. Hit it, Cargill. Hit it.
Hello, Captain. Oh, right. You heard that the state police jumped up Robertson and his crew.
Yeah, too bad they lost them.
At least we were close. Excuse me. Yeah. Captain Mantell. Oh. Was that so? What's the number again? Yeah, I've got it. Okay, we'll be right out there. Patrolman located the car. Parked in front of an apartment building on the south side. The motor was still warm.
Well, let's go, Captain.
We just stopped down at the desk, right, and put in the call for the riot squad. We may need them.
You got us in some mess, Robbie. Moore didn't do nothing to nobody.
Okay, so they didn't do nothing to nobody.
Now we're stuck with him here. We can't turn him out. We can't hold him. What are we going to do?
I'll figure that out after you get rid of the license plates in the car. I told you to take it around back an hour ago.
Miller said he'd attend to it.
I told you. Now the car sits out there an hour, nothing's done about it. Peg.
Yeah?
Will you light someplace?
Okay, Robbie.
Mella.
Keep your voice down, will you, Robbie? It's 4 a.m. The neighbors will have the cops down on us.
Mella.
Yeah, Robbie, what is it?
Bring more in here. I want to talk to you all.
Right.
Well, come on, Peg. Don't stand there.
I don't see what you're so hot under the collar about. If anybody's mad, it should be Moore.
You want some of the same treatment you got before?
Honest, Robbie, this whole business is going to your head. We were better off when...
Shut up, will you?
Okay. Why don't come inside?
Well, Robbie, got yourself in a spot, haven't you? You're stuck with me like a tiger stuck with stripes.
I won't be stuck with you for long.
Hey, Bobby.
Peg, ask who it is.
Who is it?
Police officers. Open up.
Quick, coat.
Open up in there.
Get the machine gun. No, wait. Wait a minute. I got a better idea. Listen here, copper. I got nitroglycerin here, see? I'll blow you and us and everybody in this building straight to Milwaukee.
Robbie, put away that soup.
Put it away, I'm going to use it. You hear that, copper? You hear that? I'm going to use it.
Open the door or we'll shoot through it.
Robbie, put that soup away.
Shoot through the door and you'll hit the soap, copper. You want to live, don't you, copper? You want to live? Let me get away or I'll blow you all to pieces.
Robbie, get some sense, will you? They got us.
Bobby, don't do it.
Jump on cargo.
Let go of my arm. Let go. Give me that.
On your feet. All of you, on your feet.
All right, take it easy, will you? Take it easy.
Give me that.
You want to use this stuff, I know him.
Go on. Line up against the wall there.
Okay, go on. Too sharp.
You too, Grandpa. Come on.
I'm as innocent as a new hatched chick.
We'll see how innocent you all are. All right. Face the wall. Put your hands up high. All of you. Go on. That's it. Fine-looking bunch. Hey, Captain? Yeah. They look a lot finer through bars. Okay, men. Start checking them down.
Take it easy.
That, Don, was the end of a notorious gang of safe burglars. They are all now serving long terms in various federal penitentiaries and still face trial on at least 150 charges of burglary in 5 states.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Sinclair, for this extraordinary case history. And congratulations to the hundreds of police officers, federal and state, who participated in the investigation leading to the arrests and convictions.
Proudly we hail. From New York City, where the American stage begins, here is another program with a cast of outstanding players. Public service time has been made available by this station for your Army and your Air Force to bring you this story, as proudly we hail America's early explorers. Our story is entitled Journey of the Long Knives. This is a true story of the Lewis and Clark expedition and the little Indian girl who helped the white men chart the West. Our first act curtain will rise in just a moment. But first, this important message.
Here is a brief word to the young women who will graduate from high school this year. Why not get an early start with a job that gives you the feeling of being of real service to your country? You'll enjoy that feeling in the modern Women's Army Corps. Besides, you'll be in a job that will be a little different every day, and you'll be getting the finest technical training in the world. So don't let opportunity pass you by. Visit your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station today. They knew her by many names. Guide of the Long Knives was one of them.
But today, a river fed by the great Missouri bears the name by which she is remembered by Indian and white man alike. Sacagawea, the name taken away from her but restored that winter in which our story begins. In October of 1804, the overland expedition led by Lewis and Clark sought winter quarters in the village of the Mandan Indians in the heart of the Dakotas. William Clark and Meriwether Lewis had been commissioned by President Thomas Jefferson to undertake a voyage of exploration through the unknown, uncharted regions of the vast new United States, to seek and chart a passage to the sea. And so it was in the second winter of their voyage that Lewis and Clark, known to the Indians as leaders of the Long Knives, reached the village of the Mandans, which lay on the outer fringe of the vast unknown. Here on this high bluff overlooking the Missouri River, they hoped to make their winter quarters.
I can't help feeling some uneasiness, Billy. Those drums speak a language we don't understand.
I'm afraid the Sioux war drums have spoiled our taste for this sort of music.
No, it's more than that. It's the barrier of language that stands in our way.
Didn't their chief give us to understand we'd soon have an interpreter?
Yes. Perhaps the man he's sending will shed some light on the things we have to know.
Well, so long as he's a man we can trust.
Wait. I think there's someone standing outside. I noticed when the wind caught the flap at the door.
Well, there's one way to find out. Yes, there is someone.
I was afraid to enter. My husband come to have conference with leaders of Long Knives. I bring blanket for him to sit on.
Well, come in, and don't be afraid of us. What is your name?
I am Grass Woman. I will put my husband's blanket here.
Well, why do they call you Grass Woman, my child?
It is the name they gave to me.
Hey, Billy, she's not of this tribe at all. For one thing, her English is so much better than the others.
Well, her husband probably taught it to her. We mustn't let her see we're talking about her. Small one, why are you called Grass Woman? Have they told you to be afraid of us?
Well, look here, you mustn't be just because they call us the Long Knives.
They have new name for him now.
For me? What is it?
Red hair.
Oh. Well, pretty apt description of that.
I go now.
Wait. You don't think the color of my hair means harm, do you?
They dance now to take the power from your hair.
What? Good Lord, Billy.
Power from my hair? You mean they think my...
I should not have told you. I only did it because...
Because of what? Why did you tell us?
I should not have done it. I go now to get my husband.
So, that's what the drums mean. Billy, what
are we going to do?
Yeah.
We must win their trust, their confidence. And I think...
Did you hear that cry?
Yes, just outside. It sounded like...
Billy! Billy, on the ground! It's the young girl!
What did you do to that girl?
Grass Woman is my wife. She talked too much. You are Lewis?
I'm Captain Clark. This is Captain Lewis.
I'm Charbonneau.
Well, look here, Charbonneau. You realize your wife's condition is very delicate?
You don't need to talk to me like you talk to Savage.
Your treatment of this woman is worse than Savage. If you continue...
Captain Lewis is right. We reserve the right to choose our own interpreter.
And if you think merely because you've been sent to us...
No one else in the tribe can speak English as good as I, or understand as many Indian tongues.
I'm sorry, my man. I think Captain Clark will agree that there's nothing to discuss with you until you give us proof of your goodwill.
Goodwill? Not enough that I'm not one of them? But white man like yourself?
We will discuss all of this later.
Au revoir, Captain. Till another time?
Till another time, Captain.
Come along.
He calls her Grass Woman. She can't be more than 18.
Yeah, and about to have a child.
I wonder where she comes from. Wait. Don't hurry away. Won't you stay and talk with me?
Captain Redhair, I must hurry back with water from stream.
The drums and chants have stopped in the village. Someone has spoken to the chief and told him red hair like mine is a common thing among white men. He would only believe someone who had been among the white people. You did a brave thing.
You were kind to Sacagawea.
That is your name. The name you would not tell us. Sacagawea.
It means bird woman.
But your wings have been clipped, haven't they?
Perhaps it was not meant that I should fly back to my people.
Where are they, Sacagawea? The people you were taken from?
One day you will stand at a bend in the big river where it feeds a little river running to the south. You will look through the great glass that white man put to his eye, and you will see the shining mountains. My people live beyond those mountains that glisten in the sun.
Beyond that range of rocky mountains in the west?
My people are the Shoshone. My brother Sagawa would have been their chief.
Tell me the story, Sacagawea.
I remember the freezing clouds were forming in the sky, and we were on the verge of winter, without hides to protect us from seeds and berries to keep us alive. There began a journey of the tribes through the mountains to the country of our enemies, the Blackfeet. My brother, who had hunted for many moons, led the tribe through the steep and stony passes. Every night was watchful, and every morning brought a new threat of danger as we moved deeper and deeper into Blackfeet territory. And then one morning...
You are not tiring, are you, Sacagawea?
No. I only reined my horse in to have another look at the path shooting off to the right.
Good, little sister. That is my reason for bringing you on these early morning rides ahead of the tribe, so that you will know the ground and be able to lead the children to safety.
Shouldn't we be getting back? We have looked from the top of the ridge. We have seen many mountains ahead of us.
Yes, little sister. We will start back. We must keep a constant vigil, for we are close to the country of...
What is that?
War cries of the Blackfeet.
Where are they?
Below us. There must be 200 descending on the camp.
How could we have missed seeing them? What are we to do, brother?
You are to hide in the rocks. I will ride down and do what I can.
Brother, look. From this side. A band of them have spotted us on the ridge and are riding this way.
Quickly, onto my horse. We will ride like the wind.
It is too late.
Quickly, Sacagawea, while there's still time.
Very well.
My arms will catch you. There. Now on, go, Jawele.
Upon us. I saw a tomahawk raised over the head of my brother. He shrieked once only. I turned so as not to see, and was torn from my horse by rough hands. It was very close to annihilation what happened to my tribe. I was taken to the winter camp of the Blackfeet, where the Knife River meets the big river that you follow to the west. In their camp I served in the tent of the chief. And I remember his love for gambling, never knowing that my fate would rest on the notched sticks with which he gambled. Until one night a visitor I had seen before came again to the camp.
I, myself, will shake sticks in hand this time. Then you may arrange them.
Chief White Cloud does not trust Charbonneau when he is winning?
I do not trust the loose, light feeling that the gift of Charbonneau brings to my head.
Oh, trust Charbonneau's whiskey. It is the notched sticks that do the mischief.
They have already lost my best horse to you, Charbonneau. Silver treasures of my squaw's prize collection. What else have I to risk?
The chief prize of your squaw's collection. That fine slave girl who cowers in the corner.
The one they call Sacagawea?
Yes, that is her name. I seem to remember thinking it was a strange name for one in captivity. Bird woman?
You know the language of many tribes. For the flaming water loosens the tongue.
Does it not give courage, too, to gamble on your wife's prized possession?
The tongue is loose to ask you, Charbonneau, what crimes you run from that take you from tribe to tribe, bringing us gifts that burn in the head, tricks that baffle the mind.
Shake well the sticks. It is notched, Chief White Cloud. It is notched. Notched, and I have caught the bird in my hand. I can feel her wings flutter now. I have caught the bird in my hand.
caught in rough hands again, and this time brought here to the village of the Mandans, overlooking the valley through which the big river runs to the west.
It leads back to your people. Does it not, Sacagawea?
It will take us to the shining mountains. There it pours into many rivers that lead to the valley of my people.
In the spring, when the great ice floes melt and the sun warms the land again, will you lead us to the shining mountains? And through them by the passes your brother taught you?
You mean you wish Grass Woman to lead your great party?
Not the Grass Woman. The Bird Woman.
You must not call me that in my husband's hearing. It is against his wish that I should return to my people.
We will overcome his objections.
If there is gold in it, he will wish to come too. And that you cannot oppose if I go. For he holds high favor with the chief of the tribe.
We will find a place for him in our party.
You are forgetting one thing. Soon I bear his son.
By the time we are ready to travel, your son will be born.
And I could carry him on my back. I've seen others carry such burdens and not feel them at all.
Then it is agreed.
That I am to be the guide of the long night, as the tribe calls you.
Of Lewis and Clark, as you must learn to call us. We seek a passage to the sea, and with your help, Sacagawea, we will find it.
You are listening to the proudly we hail production of Journey of the Long Night. We'll return to our story in just a moment after this important announcement.
Young woman, how about your future? Does it include an interesting and important job? A job that will take you to the exciting places of the world? Places where tomorrow's history is being made today? Right now, young women like yourself are urgently needed to serve their country in the Women's Army Corps. Here's your opportunity to secure your future. Go to your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station and get all the facts today.
You are listening to Proudly We Hail. And now we present the second act of Journey of the Long Nines. In 1803, President Jefferson had seen the need for a voyage of exploration. His former secretary, Meriwether Lewis, and Lewis's friend, William Clark, were picked for the great task. And so it was that on April 7, 1805, when the Lewis and Clark expedition continued on up the Missouri, Sacagawea went with them as guide and interpreter. In a papoose cradle on her strong young back, she carried a 2-month-old baby, her firstborn son. The course of the river turned westward, and the party followed it in flat-bottomed canoes and a square-sail keelboat drawn by many oars. But almost at once, there was trouble.
The rapids are very bad at this point. I hope Charbonneau keeps his hand firmly on the tiller of the lead boat.
After our talk last night, I have no doubt he will, in spite of what he said about the Indians' great fear of this particular stretch of water.
I can see why.
I think there's more superstition tied in with it than anything else. After all, it's the white man, not the Indian, who never got beyond this point.
This is it, then? Our entrance into the unknown territory?
We have strong boats and should have no trouble unless...
Charbonneau?
I have my eye on Charbonneau, and he knows it.
Billy! Look! The lead boat ahead is sipping water! Our instruments are in that boat!
Worse than that! Sacagawea's in that boat with a baby!
He's holding to a spar!
The boat will be all right as long as Charbonneau holds the tiller.
But he's letting go of it! Billy, what are you doing? You're pointing your gun directly at his head.
Yes, and he sees it now.
Oh, he's taken the rudder again.
And he'll hold it with a grip of iron or have a lead bullet in his head.
Water's filling the boat.
It'll stay upright as long as Charbonneau holds the tiller.
Sacagawea can't hold on to that spar much longer. Billy, she's falling into the water. What about the papoose, the baby?
I can't take my eye off Charbonneau.
Oh, it doesn't matter that our instruments are lost. What will happen to Sacagawea and her baby?
The boat is righting itself. It's on an even keel.
Sacagawea has a chance. So is the baby. As long as Charbonneau holds that cutter on course.
I
I can write in my journal that no other white man has been above this spot. But what good is our being here with our maps and instruments gone?
Well, at least Sacagawea saved herself by catching hold of the side of the boat.
Captain, may I come into your tent?
Of course you may come in, Sacagawea.
Here.
How is your baby?
Warm and happy. Sleeping now, as you can see. I had to tend to him at once and could not come to you with these.
Why, Billy, our instrument cases.
Sacagawea, you saved them. At the risk of your own life? At the risk of your baby's?
Baptiste is tied securely to my back. I keep him above water while I cling to side of boat and reach for the boxes that float away.
Do you know how important those charts and instruments are to us, Sacagawea?
I know that you use them more than you use long knives at your side, and so I know they must be good.
Why did you bring me to the top of this ridge, Sacagawea? What do you want me to see?
Remember, Sacagawea promised Captain that he will stand at a bend in the big river where it feeds Little River flowing south, that he will put the great glass to his eye, see the shining mountains. There is Little River to the south.
And by all that... There are the mountains to the west. A day's journey and we'll be in them. Wait till I mark that little river on the chart. We'll call it... By George, we'll call it Sacagawea's River.
You name it for the white man to find. Does it mean all this, all nature, now belong to white man?
Sacagawea, as the white man's knowledge of the land increases, he can bring into this country the sort of understanding that will end the kind of warfare that took you from your people. The waterfalls and mountains will belong to all tribes. This is the promise we bring to your people in those mountains in the distance.
I understand, for I know the white hand is gentle. I have never seen the long knife glint. But will they understand? Will they understand?
If we do not find the Indians friendly, I fear the successful issue of our voyage will be very doubtful. We are now several hundred miles with...
You will forgive intrusion?
Oh. What do you want, Charbonneau?
I want Captain Lewis to tell me why Captain Clark take grass woman, my wife, with party into Stony Passes, not to return for several days.
Well, you know as well as I do. We are close to the summer camp of the Shoshone, Sacagawea's people. Unless we find them soon and make certain of their friendship.
You are so sure it makes friendship, grass woman returning to our people?
It is the only way we know to show them we want friendship. We starve without their help in these mountains.
Grass woman has been away from people for a long time, has lived with Blackfeet till I take her to live with Mandan tribe. How do you know?
We know nothing. We can only hope and pray that their journey is successful. What are you planning, Charbonneau? What is in your mind?
We camp here for the night. Pitch tents out of the wind.
We will be well protected here in this pass. Blackfeet territory is far to the north. Soon there will be a sign of one of my people.
Do you think they will remember you, Sacagawea?
Has been 5 years, but there are many in the camp who will remember.
Without their help, we cannot go on.
Captain, look up there against the sky. It's Charbonneau. The shadows in the pass are so deep he cannot see us.
Wait. There's another form on the ridge above us. Who could it be?
Charbonneau makes sign of friendly greeting.
Sign of greeting shows I am friend, does it not?
What is it you want, white man?
I am not white man. I was born half Indian. My name's Charbonneau.
Why do you come into Shoshone country?
To warn you. I bring a warning of white men. White men camp not far from here, plan raid on your people with their sticks that shoot fire and lightning. Advance party of them are in the pass below us.
You tell this, but you hold thunderstick in hand.
I throw it on ground to show I am friend of Indian.
I take you to our chief.
By then the white man will have made his thunder echo in your valley, bringing death. Charbonneau show you how to bring death to white man who camps for night below us. Charbonneau and his horse loosen boulders that tip on edge of cliff.
White man on white to gallop horse close to edge.
But this is how we drive white man from your mountain.
Horse on too loose on that spot to bear weight of man and horse.
Boulders like these, but the ledge is giving way.
The white man has warning.
I'm falling.
I then went down into ravine, Chief Kamawate, where body of half-white man had fallen. Body was crushed, but white men in ravine not hurt by falling stones. Here are long knives that they wear at their sides.
You say among them was Indian woman of this tribe?
Her tongue say this, Chief Kamawate. But it has sound of distant tribe.
The fox has done well to bring them here. Let them advance into my tent. We will see if she be of our tribe.
Yes, Chief of Seven Eyes. White man and Indian woman, come forward into tent of Chief Kamawate. Bow heads in presence of Chief of Seven Eyes, great Chief of Shoshone.
Advance, woman from distant hills. You say you are of this tribe. Raise your head that we may see your face.
My brother. Sagara!
Sacagawea, my sister.
Brother, I thought you dead. I saw them.
We must not betray our feelings in front of white men. White men will leave.
They are good. And they need your help to journey to Great Sea in the west.
We will talk of these things later, little sister.
First of you, my brother. You were on the ridge with me. I saw the tomahawk raised above your head.
The first of the knives in my saddlebag stopped that tomahawk.
Oh.
Now, tell me about yourself, little sister.
I begin with day and winter, when white men came to village of Mandan Indians, and I waited outside their hut to spread council blanket upon the ground. That was the beginning. White captain will please come into tent of chief.
Sacagawea, there are tears in your eyes. Has your brother refused?
He talks through me. I interpret only.
I can tell. Chief Kamawate, tell him, Sacagawea, any promise we can make within our power.
My sister, tell them of terms.
White captain is to receive men in the amount that he needs for journey, ponies to bear the heavy burden, provisions to eat, skins to clothe.
We are to receive all of this? What are the terms?
My brother give you all this for returning Sacagawea to her people.
This means you must stay.
Tell white man, heart of chief knew heavy burden till return of sister. Now heart flies, it sings with new happiness. But tell him, chief ask himself if song has left heart of Sacagawea, because she must stay.
The song of the air and the river is forever in my heart.
It was white man who returned to my sister her name, Sacagawea, bird woman. Brother cannot clip wings again. Brother say, fly, Sacagawea.
Fly.
Fly, soar high and free as the mighty eagle across this great land and sea.
Here's an an opportunity for you young women of America, an opportunity to get in step with the smartest. Today, the rapidly expanding Women's Army Corps, proud newcomer on the team of defense, needs qualified young women between the ages of 18 and 34. This is your chance to do an important job. Why not check with your local United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station today?
This has been another program on Proudly We Hail, presented transcribed in cooperation with this station by the United States Army and United States Air Force Recruiting Service. This program featured a cast of outstanding players. This is Kenneth Banghart speaking and inviting you to tune in the same station next week for another interesting story on Proudly We Hail.
From the life of Sherlock Holmes will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Petri Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petri family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invites you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another exciting adventure he shared with his good friend, that master detective, Sherlock Holmes. And if you ask me, the best way to listen to that story is to do it with a glass of port wine right handy. Petri California port. No kidding, that Petri port is just swell for any time good friends get together to talk things over. You couldn't ask for a more delicious wine. Why, just looking at the deep, rich red color of that Petri port tells you that here's a wine with a flavor that comes right from the heart of sun-ripened grapes. If you haven't ever tried Petri Port, why not get a bottle and have a glass after dinner tomorrow night? It's a perfect after-dinner wine, you know. And share that port with your family and your friends. And don't forget, when you serve Petri Port, you can serve it proudly. Because after all, the name Petri is the proudest name in the history of American wines. And now let's keep our weekly appointment. Good evening, Dr. Watson.
Good evening, Mr. Bartell. Draw up a chair.
Thank you.
That's it. By the way, do you know what date it is?
November 5th, isn't it?
That's right. In England, it's known as Guy Fawkes Day. Have you ever heard of it?
It's something to do with a gunpowder plot, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Bartell, it is. And as Sherlock Holmes and I had a very unusual adventure on the 5th of November many years ago, it seems appropriate that I should tell you about it tonight. Before I begin, I think it might help you to appreciate the true flavor of the story if I tell you a little about the origin and the customs of Guy Fawkes Day.
Swell idea, Dr. Watson.
Well, my boy, on November the 5th, 1605, exactly 340 years ago today, King James I was about to attend the opening of Parliament when a plot was discovered to blow up the House of Lords during the ceremony.
And the chief conspirator was Guy Fawkes, I suppose?
Yes, he was. He was captured in a vault immediately below the House of Lords. A vault full of barrels of gunpowder. Of course, he and his fellow conspirators were executed. And ever since then, November the 5th has been known as Guy Fawkes Day.
Well, how's it celebrated, Doctor?
Well, it's a great time for the youngsters, Mr. Bartell. They black their faces, throng the streets, begging for pennies, and build bonfires in which to burn effigies of Guy Fawkes. These effigies are life-size dummies, stuffed with straw and dressed in old clothes. The children parade them in the streets chanting rhymes. Well, now, let me see. Please to remember the 5th of November. Guy Fawkes Guy, hit him in the eye.
The kids must have quite a time. Sort of like Halloween, huh, Doc?
Yes, not unlike it, my boy. Well, now that I've told you something about the customs of Guy Fawkes Day, I'll get on with my story. It began just before lunch, I remember, on November the 5th, 1899. The day was foggy and cold, and Holmes and I seated each side of a blazing fire in our Baker Street rooms. From outside, we could hear the sound of voices laughing and singing. Suddenly, Holmes rose and crossed to the window, opened it, and looked out. Then he turned to me and spoke.
Children are having a great time, Watson, aren't they?
Yes, it cost me a shilling worth of pennies to walk here this morning.
Has it occurred to you, Watson, that the gunpowder plot offers very promising material to the speculative mind?
In what way, Holmes? I say it's confoundedly chilly in here. Don't you think you might shut that window?
Sorry, old chap. As I was saying, the gunpowder plot offers very promising material to the speculative mind. I made something of a study of the historical records of the case. There is more than a little evidence to suggest that King James was never in any real danger.
Never in any danger? Or what makes you say that?
Knowledge of the proposed dastardly scheme came to light early. That James Stuart, King of England, the possessor of a shrewd and diabolical mind, used the spectacular discovery of the plot to try and bolster his waning popularity, as well as to justify increased religious persecutions.
Well, that's the first I've heard of it, Holmes.
I dare say, old fellow, but it's true just the same. I'm afraid James Stuart, King of England, was an unscrupulous tyrant. Come in. Oh, yes, Mrs. Hudson?
There is a gentleman to see you, Mr. Holmes. He said it was very important. He asked me to give you his card.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Hudson. Oh. Ask him to come up, please, will you?
Aye, sir.
Who is it, Holmes?
A gentleman with a remarkably fine sense of timing. Read his card for yourself.
Let's have a look. Mr. James Stuart. Great Scott, that's an extraordinary coincidence that he should arrive just as we're talking about James Stuart, King of England.
Come in.
Mr. James Stuart.
How do you do, Mr. Stuart? My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my colleague, Dr. Watson.
How do you do, sir? How do you do?
Mr. Holmes, you've got to help me. I'm walking about in mortal fear of my life. You've got to help me.
Mr. Stuart, I suggest that you sit down. I'll do anything in my power to help you, but you must compose yourself first and tell me quietly what it is that's frightening you.
How can I compose myself when I may be dead within a few hours?
No, Mr. Stuart. I'm a doctor. I really think if I were to give you a sedative that you'd find...
How can you talk of sedatives when My heart. Doctor! My heart.
All right. Now, here, let me help you into this sofa. There you are now.
Imagine the brandy would mean all of us.
Yes, Holmes, and I'll give him some digitalis. A fellow with a bad heart like this shouldn't allow himself to get so excited.
Here you are, Mr. Stuart. Drink this.
No.
That's it. And now this, Mr. Stuart.
What is it?
It's digitalis.
Very well.
Yeah, now. Feel better, sir?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Yes, I do. You're right. I shouldn't get so excited. My heart can't stand it, you know.
Watson, is he well enough to talk, do you think?
Yes, if he doesn't excite himself again.
I'll be careful, Doctor. I'll take it quietly. Mr. Holmes, when you saw my card just now, did it strike any responsive chord?
Oh, naturally, sir. Who could fail to be intrigued when a James Stuart calls to see one on Guy Fawkes Day?
It isn't just coincidence that my name is James Stuart. I've got royal blood in my veins. People know of it. And that's another reason they're out to kill me. They're jealous of my heritage. Every instinct I have is a royal one. No, you gentlemen know that falconry is a king's sport. And my greatest hobby is the breeding and the training of falcons.
Please, Mr. Stuart. Owing to the state of your health, I suggest that you be as economical as possible in your explanation. In fact, I think it might be better if I were to question you.
Very well, Mr. Holmes.
Now, you say that your life is in danger. What evidence do you have to substantiate that claim?
My cousin, Guy Falconby, has threatened it. You see, Mr. Holmes, he and I are the only heirs to a wealthy uncle. His fortune will go to the surviving heir. If I were dead, Guy would inherit everything.
Seems to me, Mr. Stuart, that you should have applied to Scotland Yard for protection.
I did, Dr. Watson. Only a few days ago I saw a certain Inspector Strad, I think his name was, and he laughed at my fears.
Oh, Strad, And he laughed, did he? Well, then in that case, there may be something in your story, sir. You say that your cousin has threatened to kill you. Has he indicated the method he intends to employ?
He has, and it's a devilish plot. Guy has a bitter, twisted sense of humor, gentlemen, even when he's planning as dastardly a thing as a murder. I am James Stuart. He is Guy Falconby. which is near enough to Guy Fawkes. Today is the 5th of November, and he's planning to blow me up.
Oh, come, sir. You can't expect us to believe that.
But it's true. He warned me. And the celebrations that are going on in the streets of London today would make a rare cloak for his activities.
I must confess, Mr. Stewart, that I find your story most unconvincing. All your evidence appears to depend on conversations held between you and this cousin of yours. You have no facts, sir, to substantiate your claims.
But I have.
Then please let us hear them.
I live at 23 Cavendish Square. A week ago, the house next door to me was let to a new tenant. Almost immediately, workmen became very active there. They were digging in the cellars, Mr. Holmes. I could hear the sounds of picks and shovels through the walls.
Digging in the cellars? That does sound significant, doesn't it, Holmes?
Extremely. Did you observe any other activities of the workmen, Mr. Stewart?
Aye, Mr. Holmes. Vans have been delivering large packing cases to the basement during the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's in them, too. It's gunpowder. I tell you, they're planning to blow me up today.
No. Steady. You mustn't excite yourself again.
What shall I do, Mr. Holmes?
I think, sir, it would be better for you to rest here for a while and then go to a nearby hotel. I would suggest the Shaftesbury. And wait there until you hear from us.
And where are you gentlemen going?
Watson and I, after donning suitable disguises, will visit the house adjoining yours in Cavendish Square. I think an examination of the cellar there might prove most illuminating.
This must be the house, all right, Holmes. The empty packing cases are still by the foot of the basement steps.
Come on, Watson. Let's go down and explore.
Upon my soul, I feel a little self-conscious in these clothes.
No need to, my dear chap. You look a most authentic inspector of plumbing.
Well,
if anyone challenges us, you'd better let me do the talking, though. I think my accent might be a little more convincing. Shh. Listen.
I can't hear anything.
Exactly. Then we may reasonably assume that either the workmen are observing the Guy Fawkes holiday or that their work is done. Come on, let's try this door.
It's unlocked.
Yes. Huh. This is too easy, Watson. We must be prepared for a trap. Come on.
I've got my revolver handy if there's any trouble.
I don't use it until I tell you to. Remember, we're supposed to be plumbing inspectors.
It's pitch black in here. I can't see a thing.
Strike a match. See if you can find a gas jet.
Strike a match and the cellar may be full of gunpowder.
Don't take the risk, old chap.
Oh, here's a gas jet. I'll light it. That's better. Now we can see a little.
Uh-huh. I think the workmen have completed their job. See that new wood forming a crude door in the corner over there?
Where does it lead to, do you suppose?
Let's find out. Also unlocked. And here's a miner's lantern, waiting conveniently for us on this ledge. Ooh, this is ridiculously easy. Now I'm sure it's a trap.
I like the lantern. Great Scott, it's a tunnel.
Yes, it's a tunnel leading into Mr. Stewart's house next door. Let's explore it.
Look, Holmes. Look at the barrels. I bet they're full of gunpowder.
Undoubtedly. We'll observe the fuses as well. Yes, the complete equipment for another gunpowder plot.
I can't believe my eyes. What a fantastic plan, but how could the murderer be certain that Stewart would be killed in the explosion?
I think that's easily answered, Watson. Remember Mr. Stewart's bad heart? In his present state of apprehension, an exploding firecracker would be enough to kill him.
Oh, I suppose so. Hello? What's this lying on the floor? Curious. It's a funny strip of silk with a little ring on the end.
Let me see it, Watson. Uh-huh. This seems to be familiar. By Jove! I believe it's a Jess.
A Jess? What on earth's that?
The last piece of evidence necessary to confirm the conclusion.
Come out of there! Keep your hands above your heads! I've got a revolver!
Right, your governor. We ain't done no harm. Now remember, Watson, I'll do the talking.
Come on! Out you come! Well, you're a comical-looking pair. What are you doing in there?
Me and my mate got a message to come over here and see to the plumbing, mister.
Plumbers, eh? Have any identification?
Yes, sir. Here's my badge. We're inspectors for the London County Council.
Oh, that's all right, my man. I saw the basement door open, and I thought burglars might be here.
You're the owner of this house, sir?
Yes, but my agent let it recently to some tenants who've been behaving rather queerly, I'm told. So I came round here to see what was happening.
If you're the owner, sir, perhaps you can give me some facts for me records. Not film me records, you know.
What do you want to know?
Well, your name, please, sir.
Falconby. Guy Falconby.
Look here. Alfie, hold your nose.
What did he say?
Nothing, sir, nothing. He's got bad hiccups. That had him for months now. Can't stop him. Alfie, here, give me a pencil, will you? Thank you, Al. Now, sir, your name is Guy Falconby. What's the name of the tenant this house is let to?
There are 3 of them.
Now, do you know the name, sir? Got to have them for me records, you see.
Yes, the names are Winter, Rokewood, and Kane.
Oh, yes. Winter, Rokewood, and Keynes. That's right, sir. Sounds as if there might be a firm of solicitors, don't they, sir?
Well, perhaps they are. I haven't met them.
Just one more question, sir, and then I needn't bother you no more.
Well, what is it? My religion or my grandmother's maiden name?
No, sir. No, nothing like that. I just wondered who lived in the house next door on that side. We've had a complaint from there, too. Their pipes is bunged up.
My cousin lives there. His name's James Stewart.
Mr. James Stewart, eh? I'm much obliged, sir. Me and my mate will be going next door. And come on, Alfie.
I'm not surprised his pipes are bunged up, as you so graphically put it. He's a great one for practical jokes about the house. As a matter of fact, he's planning one of them tonight. Well, that's no concern of yours. By the way, my man, what's your name?
Nibbit, sir. Tom Nibbit. Come on, Alfie. We got work to do.
Holmes, I wish you'd tell me what's going on. Why have we taken this cab back to Baker Street?
Get out of these clothes. They've served their purpose. Now there's more serious work afoot.
Well, I'm still confused about our interview with Guy Falconby. Why did you say your name was Tom Nibbit?
More touch of vanity, old fellow.
Vanity? How do you mean?
Well, consider the names in this case so far, Watson. James Stewart says that he's been threatened by Guy Falconby. A name, as Mr. Stewart points out, not unlike Guy Fawkes. You recall the names of the 3 tenants that Mr. Falconby gave us a few minutes ago?
Yes. Winter, Rokewood, and Keynes. But what's that got to do with it?
A great deal, my dear fellow. Thomas Winter, Ambrose Rokewood, and Robert Keynes were the 3 men executed with Guy Fawkes in the original gunpowder plot in 1605.
Good Lord. Where does Tom Nibbit, the name you gave yourself, fit into the picture?
Thomas Nibbit was the Westminster magistrate who arrested the conspirators. Since the would-be murderer has such an academic knowledge of the original plot, I thought I'd let him know that he was up against an opponent worthy of his skill.
We'll hear the rest of Dr. Watson's story in just a few seconds. Just about time for me to remind you that if you want a wine that's sure to please the ladies, you can't mix with Petri California Muscatel. That's because Petri Muscatel is a golden wine with one of the most luscious flavors you ever tasted. Did you ever taste a big, plump Muscat grape that's ripened in the sun? If you have, then you know what to expect when you taste Petri Muscatel. It's a wonderful wine. Perfect after dinner and swell when company comes. Just remember that, won't you? Petri Muscatel. Well, Doctor, you and Mr. Holmes were certainly having yourselves quite a Guy Fawkes day. What happened when you got back to Baker Street?
We quickly changed out of our disguises and back into our ordinary clothes. I'm still pretty much in the dark, as usual. And I kept questioning Holmes as to our next move. He was in a state of suppressed excitement. And it was obvious as he spoke to me that he was anxious to be off.
What's dawdle? There's so much work ahead of us.
What do you mean, dawdle? I'm not dawdling. I'm pressing as fast as I can. What's our next move, anyway?
Well, we must split our forces. Let's get hold of my band of street urchins, the Baker Street Irregulars. I'm going to surround Mr. Stewart's house in Cavendish Square, and they'll be invaluable for that purpose.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Go to the Shaftesbury Hotel and collect Mr. Stewart, then return with him to his house and wait me there. I shall join you as soon as I've rounded up the irregulars, but I must warn you. Don't leave Mr. Stewart for a moment. Don't let him out of your sight until you see me again.
Of course I won't, Holmes, but, I must say, the idea of all that gunpowder in the cellar doesn't make me feel any too happy.
Have faith in me, old chap. Have faith in me. You know, I wouldn't expose you to any danger if I could avoid it. And I assure you that I shall join you and Mr. Stewart very shortly. You have your revolver?
Yes, of course.
Good. And, give Mr. Stewart this revolver, will you? Tell him that I insist that he carries it. I fear that his own has probably been tampered with.
Right you are, Holmes. I'll see that he has it. This is a strange business, I must say. That Guy Falconberry seemed such a decent sort of fellow.
Yes, he appeared to be a most amiable fellow, didn't he? This is indeed an unusual case, Watson. We're up against one of the most sinister and twisted antagonists that we've ever met. Well, old chap, I'm leaving now. I'll join you soon. And don't forget, stay close to Mr. Stewart. Stay very close to him.
Dr. Watson, I wish your friend were here.
No. Don't get so excited, Mr. Stewart. You'll be here any moment now. You've still got the revolver that I gave you?
Yes, it's in my pocket. But what's the good of a revolver if there should be an explosion? Answer me that if you can.
No. You must have faith in Mr. Holmes, sir. He's arranging now to have this house of yours surrounded by his band of street urchins. They'll see that no one gets to the cellar next door to light the fuses.
A bunch of children. How can they do anything?
You don't know the Baker Street irregulars, Mr. Stewart. And it's a perfect day for them to operate. As black-faced boys begging for pennies, they'd pass unnoticed anywhere.
I hope you're right. But I have a premonition, Doctor. There's going to be a tragedy. I know it.
Now, take it easy, sir. Remember your heart. You're in splendid hands when Sherlock Holmes is on the case. Here he is now. Holmes, I say, I'm glad to see you.
You received your visitor yet?
Visitor? We've seen no one.
Then be on the alert. I've just been questioning the boys surrounding this house. A few moments ago, some children pulled a small cart up to the back door. A cart containing a life-size dummy. My irregulars thought that it was an effigy on its way to a bonfire.
Why shouldn't it be, Holmes?
I have reason to believe that it's someone visiting you in disguise, Mr. Stewart. A visitor who is mounting the back stairs at this very moment.
You've got to stand by me, Holmes. You've got to protect me.
Don't worry, sir. Come in.
Look at that apparition. Guy Fawkes stamped it. A dark lantern in his hand, and it's walking.
And also talking, I trust.
Keep away from me. I got a revolver.
Take for Victoria's sake. If you won't give me one, I'll take two. The better for me and the worse for you.
It's Guy Falconberry.
Keep away from me, do you hear?
The better for me and the worse for you.
All right, then. I'm going to fire.
Tell me, Mr. Stewart, the revolver I've provided for you seems to be unloaded. How very odd.
Well, what in fun is all this about?
We've just witnessed an attempted murder, Watson.
Murder? What are you talking about? This is a game. James and I had it arranged, the whole thing.
You may have thought it was a game, Mr. Falconberry, but I assure you that your... Grab Mr. Stewart, Watson. He seems to be leading us.
Leave me alone. Take your hands off me. My heart.
Help me put him on the sofa. That's it. I'll get him some digitalis.
Look, I don't want to appear unnecessarily stupid, but will someone tell me what this is all about?
With pleasure, Mr. Falconberry. Your cousin had planned one of the most fantastic murder plots that I've ever encountered. He came to us with the story that you had threatened his life.
But that's ridiculous. I'm very fond of him.
Of course it's ridiculous. The whole plot was ridiculous. He leased the house next door, had a tunnel dug, and gunpowder and fuses planted there. Even entered the name of the tenants as Winter, Rokewood, and Keynes to give the apparent plot a further authenticity.
You mean my cousin was the real tenant?
Certainly he was. However, he was clumsy enough to drop that piece of silk with the wire ring on the end that you found in the cellar, Watson.
The thing you called a jess.
And what's a jess?
It's a strap that goes round a falcon's leg to which its leash is fastened. You will remember that Mr. Stewart informed us that falconry is his hobby, and it therefore indicated that he had been in the cellar and consequently must have known about the whole plot.
And all he was trying to do was to build up in our minds the belief that his cousin was trying to kill him.
Exactly, my dear fellow. Had we believed him, of course he could have shot you just now, Mr. Falconberry, in apparent self-defense.
Good Lord, what a fantastic plot. I still can't quite believe it.
Mr. Falconberry, why are you dressed as a Guy Fawkes dummy?
Well, it was James's idea. He said that he was going to dress up too, and that we were to go round the bonfires tonight and frighten people by appearing as live dummies. But the last message he sent told me to come up here, that we'd play a practical joke on a couple of friends of his.
And did he provide you with the costume that you're wearing?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he did.
Have you searched the pockets for any weapons?
No, but I will.
All right, and while you're doing that, I'll examine this dark lantern. How's your patient, Watson?
Well, I've given him some digitalis. Now I'll get him some brandy.
I can't find anything in the pockets.
Here's the answer, my friends. Look here. Inside the lantern is a dagger. Your cousin planted it there to substantiate the claim that you were trying to kill him. Had his plans worked, you would have been dead, Mr. Falconberry, before you could have told us the truth.
Here, come back here, Mr. Stewart.
James! He slipped out of the door.
Found it. He's taking the heart attack. Come on, Watson, after him.
Holmes, where are you? Out of the way, please.
Blimey. Here comes an ordinary London chance.
Excuse me, please. I'm trying to find a friend of mine. Most important. Holmes, where are you? Get out here, Watson.
I hear you calling me.
Out of the way, please. I'm coming, Holmes. You got away from me in the crowd.
I'm afraid this jerk got away from us.
Well, we'll never find him in this mark.
Not Walpole. He's a dangerous man. There's no knowing what he may do. Where are the irregulars? Ah, there's Wiggins.
Wiggins?
Hello, Mr. Evans.
Wiggins.
Watson.
Did you see a man run out of that house a few minutes ago?
No, Governor. Perhaps Charlie did. Hey, Charlie, come over here a minute. It's Mr. Holmes. All right. I bet Charlie didn't see anything, though. He's got some savvy girl with him. Hello, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Charlie.
Did you see a man run through this crowd a few minutes ago? A tallish man with a gray moustache?
Yes, I did. A man came running out of the house over there. That's the house. Where'd he go? He ran down toward where the shops are. And he's still out there, he did. The one we are going to burn in a bonfire. I tried to stop him, but he got away.
Holmes, look up there on the roof. There's a figure. By Joe, I believe it's James Stewart.
That's the man. He's the one that stole our dummy. He's standing up on the roof. He's going to jump. If he does, he's going to land in the bonfire.
There he goes. He is jumping. Right into the middle of the fire.
It's awful. He'll be burned to death.
Don't worry, Wiggins. That wasn't a man who fell into the bonfire.
What do you mean?
From the gyrations that the figure performed as it fell, my dear Watson, I'm convinced that Mr. Stewart threw the stolen dummy to try and put us off the track.
Then Stewart's still up there.
He is, Watson. Come on, old boy. It's up on the rooftops for us. Up on the rooftop. Here, Watson. Let me help you up. Can you reach my hand?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, then. Up you come. Come on. That's it.
Phew. Seems to me that fire escapes must be designed for giants.
Keep your eyes skinned, old fellow. Stewart's a dangerous man. Might be hiding behind those chimney stacks. Come on.
Upon my soul, this is a strange place to be on Guy Fawkes night.
Yes, a comprehensive case, Watson. Starts in a cellar and ends on a rooftop.
Look, Holmes. By the parapet there.
The crumpled body of Mr. Stewart.
Looks to me as if it... Yes. He's dead, Holmes.
Well, it's not surprising. The effort of carrying the dummy up here and throwing it, combined with his own state of excitement, were too much for him. No, frankly, I can't say that I'm sorry.
No, he planned a murder. If it hadn't been for you, he would have succeeded. An extraordinary case, Holmes.
Yes, old chap, and one that should long make us remember the 5th of November.
By Joe, yes.
Please to remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
Well, Doctor, as you boys would say, that story was a bit of exciting, what?
Yes, and even now I sort of lose my breath when I remember climbing that fire escape.
You know, Doctor, those two fellas certainly went out of their way to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day. Now, take me. When I got a little celebrating to do, I like to do it quietly. Some friends, a glass of port.
Yeah, Petri port, of course.
What else?
Leave it to you. No matter what the occasion is, you can somehow make it the perfect occasion for Petri wine. How do you do it, old fellow?
Don't ask me how I do it. You mean, how does the Petri family do it? How can they make such swell wine? Well, the answer is experience. The Petri family has been making fine wine for generations. And ever since they first established the Petri business way back in the 1800s, they've handed on down from father to son, the fine art of turning luscious, sun-ripened California grapes into fragrant, delicious wine. That's why when you want a wine for any occasion, before dinner, with your meals, or after dinner, you can't go wrong with a Petri wine, because Petri took time to bring you good wine. And now, Dr. Watson, what Sherlock Holmes adventure are you going to tell us next week?
An old favorite, Mr. Bartell, a story that concerns strange music that was heard in a lonely house in the English countryside, and of the living death that stalked there. I call it The Adventure of the Speckled Band.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure is written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and was suggested by an incident in this Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Devil's Foot. Music was by Dean Fossler. Mr. Rathbone appears through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and Mr. Bruce through the courtesy of Universal Pictures, where they are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. The Petri Wine Company of San Francisco, California, invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. This is Harry Bartell saying goodnight for the Petri family. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our Hollywood studio. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.